And David, while I'm bummed out about the Red Wings, I've pretty much given up on them for the season. I'm more bummed out about the Marlins last night.
Oh my goodness.
Did you see how they did it?
No.
So he goes to the ninth. He gets an out. He gives up a leadoff double, gets an out. So he's pitched 8 1/3. Walks Dela Cruz. I don't know if it was intentional or if it was an intentional walk, if you know what I mean. Because where I was following it didn't have it. So they bring in a guy from the bullpen. I don't know which pitch, but they steal second and third. So he doesn't hold him on the bag. So now we've got second and third, 1 out. Fly out, sack fly, 2-1. So he gets charged with that run, which he didn't give up. I hate that. And then a wild pitch to tie it 2-2.
No.
2-2.
2-2?
2-2 after 9. They lost 6-3 or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm mad about it, Kavanaugh. I'm mad about it. Alcantara pitched great, and his team I don't know, the manager, the reliever. I don't know who you want to blame for that. Did you watch it, Kavanaugh? Was not happy. Just for Alcantara. Good for your Reds. I have nothing against the Reds. But yeah, he walks it to make it second and third. Sack fly makes it 2-1. And then a wild pitch ties it. And then they lose it next.
First runs he'd given up all year.
Right, but he wasn't on the mound for either of them.
Well, but I mean, he is responsible.
Well, I don't know if it was an intentional walk. That one bothers me. And a wild pitch to boot.
I'm guessing it wasn't, because you don't usually do that with the tying run.
Right, but it's Dela Cruz.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I was just bummed. I was just bummed for him, especially when he's pitched 3 games. He goes into the ninth, hasn't given up a run yet. He's gone 7 innings, complete game. He's gone 8 innings. It's like, wow.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. Hope your week's going well. Let's get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I got a good night's sleep last night. I haven't been sleeping very well, so I feel better than I usually do at this time of day. How about you?
I mean, I went to bed, I don't know, a little late. I've been staying up a little later than usual. I've been able to, watch sports a little more than I have been. I've been trying to get a nap in every day. I mean,
there you go.
And they haven't been long. They've been the 20, 30-minute variety.
Oh.
But, watched a little college baseball last night, watched a little hockey last night.
Well, if you watched a little college baseball, you couldn't go to bed early.
Well, they start at 6, so actually you can. So, but it was our little bet last night. My son's team started at 6 in their college baseball game. Our Red Wings started at 7. We wondered which one was going to be over first. But it's funny. It's the baseball hour, so I'm going to start with baseball.
Whoa.
And the Rays took one on the chin and got blown out, so that really doesn't matter. I mean, it just doesn't. That's the way that it is. But I'm bummed out about the Marlins this morning, and I have never in my life been bummed out about the Marlins. I've never cared about the Marlins. I really have never given them an ounce of my sports emotion. I've given them time. I've watched them. I've paid attention to them, but I actually, they hurt my sports emotions last night, and that's never happened before because Alcantara has started. That was his 3rd game he has started. He had not given up a run in his 2 previous starts and pitched a complete game. And come on now, first off, for a pitcher in today's baseball to pitch a complete game is something we should all applaud. And secondly, he did it, I think, in March, maybe early April. I mean, this doesn't usually happen this early in the season. And last night, I'll be damned, but they go to the ninth inning. He's still on the bump.
Heck, Mark, I was impressed when he went 7 innings in his first start. I mean,
Right.
most every other team was just happy to get 5 out of their ace. But are you sad for the Marlins or are you sad for Alcantara?
Probably Alcantara, but the Marlins are off to a good start. And Kyle Seeloff, who's their one of the voices of the team, has joined us on the show regularly now for a couple of years. He's a very nice guy. And David, I think you do know this about me. I've lost a lot of my fandom, and I still have it, but it's not the same. And certainly I don't have the hatred of other teams that I once did. And once someone comes on our show and is a regular on our show, I find myself rooting for their teams more than I ever did before. And here's Kyle, who works for a team who is historically bad. They are. So when they're off to a good start, I'm like, man, that's great for him. That makes his job so much more fun to come to the ballpark every night. And Alcantara goes to the ninth, gives up a double, gets an out, gives up a walk. They put in a relief pitcher, and the relief pitcher blows it. And that bummed me out. It truly bummed me out. Wild pitch to let the game get tied. How do you give up the run that way? That's terrible.
It is terrible to give it up that way. Make them put the ball in play, no doubt.
Up 2-0 going to the ninth, and they lose. So that was that bummed me out a little bit. And other than that, I was having fun with an old friend because there was a TMZ type story that hit last night, and we were having a lot of fun with it. We were enjoying ourselves.
You talking about the Vrabel Rossini story?
Oh yes, because she is a guest on a lot of big time shows. She does a lot of radio hits on big time shows. She does Dan Patrick. She does Colin Cowherd. She does Dan Lebitard.
Yeah.
And she does PMT, which is Barstool's big sports daily. I think it's 3 times a week. I think. I'm not positive. But she does all. I mean, those are 4 of the biggest shows that there are out there. McAfee's in that list, but he's not. I've never heard her on his show. So, because he has Schefter as kind of his insider.
Right.
So, it's just, it's gossipy. It's TMZ-ish.
But we don't even know if it's true.
Right. But we've got a lot of people telling stories and saying it's not. And there's a lot of evidence that says, well, it kind of is. So it's a fascinating little story because I think it'll affect her a hell of a lot more than it'll affect him.
Well, there's no doubt about that. First off, it always affects the woman more because that's just the way we operate as a society. But yeah, I mean, he's an NFL head coach. How's it going to affect him? Okay. She has to report on the league. Okay. I mean, if she's dating or having an affair or whatever with an NFL head coach, that's going to impact her career. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, to me, this is real simple. Supposedly it was 3 or 4 couples on a vacation. Okay. Well,
No, it was he and 2 buddies. It was her and 2 buddies. They were not, they were there separately together, if you will. The way I read it on.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it was 6 of them. Right.
Well, that's what they're saying. The people that were at the hotel are saying, no, it was the 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's a he said, she said of witnesses versus his friends and her friends. And there's no pictures of the friends.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just, is the post being the post or is there some there?
All right. Well,
That's, TMZ didn't pick it up. Does that bode well for the 2 of them, or does that mean they just didn't have a spy there? I mean, it's just it's off season. We don't have any football. It's a day before the Masters gets going. So I just find it Interesting.
Okay, yeah, you could tell that there's apparently not enough to talk about, or not enough to interest people this time of year. But or that's just how damn big the NFL is. That this is that big a story, if it in fact is true. But I mean, if it's true, it's a mess because they're both married. So it's a mess if it's true. But I guess we'll find out. It's not like you can keep this a secret. You gotta address it quickly.
Which they both did in statements. I mean, they both said this is BS. I mean, I will say that they both said it's BS.
Okay.
I mean, deny. I mean, that's the first rule of cheating.
Well, first off, I mean, how could either of them think that they wouldn't get noticed? I mean, he's a coach who just went to the Super Bowl. She's on TV a lot and has been around a long time.
And now she makes a boatload of money.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, when she left ESPN to go to The Athletic, it was with a hell of a jump in pay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she's got 2 commas in her yearly salary.
And the first number's crooked, I believe.
Well, okay. And I thought it was close. But either way, we're talking, we're talking a good living.
And there are people that are jealous of that just in and of itself.
No question.
I mean, people who are NFL writers are jealous of what she makes. Men who are writers in the NFL are incredibly jealous of what she makes.
Sure. So these pictures were from Arizona, right? Owners meetings, and then.
Well, it was a hotel away from Phoenix. It was not where they were staying for the meetings. It's that they left for a day and went to another place that was apparently, it's a romantic getaway hotel, David. It's literally billed as a the bungalow they were in are for 2, not for 6, for 2. So
gotcha. Huh? Okay.
If you wanna connect the dots, you can, even though we don't have evidence to connect them with completely. There's enough there that you go, that's all.
The problem, I mean, listen, there's no problems for him. I mean, maybe at home, but there's no problems for him with his job or publicly or anything. There just isn't. I mean, that's how we operate as a society. But even if there's no there, okay, she's got problems reporting on the Patriots. Okay, going forward. Because first off, if she breaks a story or if she's got a nugget, okay, this is where it could be a problem for him. Everyone in the locker room and in the front office will be like, well, she probably got that from Vrabel.
So if you hear who the Patriots are going to draft and it comes out of The Athletic, believe it.
So sounds like a slow Tuesday night, but what the heck? Every now and then you need a little something to get you through.
Right. Who wants to cover baseball in April on a Tuesday?
Right.
You know what I mean? Really and truly, and there's not enough people that like the NHL, but
right. And the Lightning have lost 2 in a row. Okay. So yeah.
Tough night last night for the Lightning. Tough night last night for the Rays. Rays get pounded yesterday. And the Lightning, with their game in hand that they had on Buffalo, well, they let it slip through their fingers, losing 2 in a row. Obviously, back-to-back for Tampa, which is not easy. And Ottawa trying to fight for a playoff spot. So a big win for Ottawa and a tough loss for Tampa because Carolina came from behind and beat Boston in overtime. So now they're 4 back. And first overall in the conference is getting more and more difficult for Tampa Bay. They needed that one last night.
Heck, they just have to worry about finishing first in their division now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the whole number one seed thing, I put that on hold. Going to need some help, but they just have to take care of business the rest of the way.
No doubt. No doubt. And a couple of players banged up, which is not what you want to see this time of year for Tampa. Obviously, I mean, not the biggest names, but it doesn't matter because it's a sport where it takes everybody. Good show lined up for you today. Whit Watson to talk the Masters. Seth Everett joins us in his weekly spot, and Amanda Christovich to talk about the president's executive order. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
PA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Boy, Empire, you're just angry. First off, it was an ESPN story about Hurts. Everybody in the league that reports on the league is reporting about AJ Brown. And to sit there and say that an affair for sure is true when two people are both married and have two kids, come on, man. I mean, you're getting more upset about this fake world of pro sports than you are about two people's lives. If it's true and they get divorced or stay together, whatever the case may be, but you're mad that we're not saying that this is an absolute truth so that Diana Rossini and her two young children get divorced from their father? Get some perspective, man. Seriously.
The other thing is, Empire, don't be so fast to assume AJ Brown's not getting traded. First off, we got the draft coming up. But secondly, it makes no sense for the Eagles to trade him contractually before June 1st. Because it'll cost them $10 million less on their cap if they trade him after June 1st.
And I mean, Rob Ellis is in Philly. He thinks he's getting traded. Oh, Adam, I reading the article, they both have friends that say they went up there separately and hung out together. And there are eyewitnesses that said they only saw the two of them together.
And Brian, okay, your game was one of the better NBA games last night.
I will say, for as much as I don't root against teams because of guests we have on the show, I do root against teams because of people's attitude in the Twitch chat room. That's that's a fault of mine. There are several different definitions of a balk Canada relief, but that is one of them.
I got to say, Rossini does seem like a cool hang, at least.
Yeah, I enjoy when she's on show. She's funny. I mean, when she's on Levitard, because they don't do half the time they have her on, 70% of the time they have her on, it's not about sports. I mean, they did a whole thing about where she hides the candy so her kids can't get it. I was laughing hysterically. I saw the deep three that he hit, Brian. That was about it. That was the highlight that I watched. I was watching my team blow another game. With a little ECU Duke midweek baseball.
I guess Bethune-Cookman went to LSU and beat the Tigers yesterday.
LSU's had a lot of losses this year.
I was going to say that, isn't that like the third midweek loss to a very inferior school?
Yes, and they've lost a series or before conference play. I think they lost a series or two at home against, what you would think is inferior opponents. They're a lot of money they're spending to be,
Mediocre.
relatively average.
Right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. With Watson, a little more than an hour as we continue our prep for the Masters. You get into the whole, group pairings. Do you care who's playing together? I mean, you'd watch a club pro play around at the Masters, wouldn't you? It's the course is as much the attraction as the golfers are, right?
If that were the case, I would have watched some of that women's amateur. And they've been doing that for 2 years, 3 years, however long they've been doing it. I've never watched a shot.
Oh,
Not
really?
A shot.
I love it. I've always felt the LPGA Tour should have begged the Masters and written them a check and said, what you would do for our tour and for women's golf, okay, please, can we even a one-timer? How much money do you need? We could, for us to play a tournament here.
Yeah, and I don't think there's enough money they could have ever given to done it. I think with Augusta, I will say in true to their form, because what's the one thing they've always been with the Masters is incredibly gracious to amateur players from across the world. And they said, we'll do women's golf. We'll do amateur women's golf because it does align with what they believe in.
Well, there's an awful lot of the young women who have said it would mean more to me to win the ANWA than it would to win the U.S. Amateur. I mean, that's how quickly it has become a big deal in, women's amateur golf. I like the fact that, Sorenstam shows up. I like the fact that there are former Masters champions who show up and support the young women this past Saturday, and I love it. And I'm also interested in what clubs they're hitting into what, because obviously they're playing from different tees. So I'm just curious how it's playing, thinking that they're playing tees that are probably closer to what we would play, right? The member tees are
Right.
probably significantly further up than, so when I watch the 17-year-old girls, women, hit what club they're hitting into, 14, I'm thinking, well, that's probably what I'd be hitting.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's a lot closer. I know it is with the LPGA Tour, but I can't really speak on it because I've never watched a shot.
Well, no, I mean, the only women's sport you're into these days is softball.
Softball and tennis. I've always been a
Okay.
fan of women's tennis. I enjoy watching the women play tennis. I always have. And I guess I'm one of the only ones because the numbers are showing that it's going the other way. Because you had sent over a text to me yesterday with the numbers from the NCAA tournament, and they were enormous. Enormous.
I mean, for those, and listen, Mark, you're in the majority. Okay. I've always been in the minority. Okay. You're in the majority. Most people, period, never mind men, most people don't watch women's sports. I mean, that's just a fact. That's not a sexist statement. That's a fact. It's been proven by 50 years of television ratings. But we talk ratings on this show a lot. I think if you listen to the show, you have an idea now of what's a decent audience, what a network is hoping for when they air a certain event at a certain time on a certain channel. If we told you that the women's national championship on Sunday, how many of you knew it was on 3:30 in the afternoon on ABC? First off. Secondly,
that'd be a negative here.
Right. Secondly, how many of you knew who was playing in it?
Now that I did know, that I was completely aware. But I honestly, I would have missed the game because I didn't know what time it was. I would have just made the assumption that the game would have been, 6, 7 o'clock at night, or late afternoon, early evening, because in my head, that's when you get the best TV numbers.
And also, Mark, up until very recently, that's when the game was played. And the game was also played on the 4-letter network.
Right.
At like 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. And it was a big deal because I think they moved Sunday Night Baseball to ESPN2, which
You're right.
Major League Baseball was never happy with. But they would say, sorry, we're going to get a bigger audience showing this game than if we showed yours. But quite frankly, because of Caitlin Clark and Iowa's back-to-back trips to the title game, the game got moved to ABC. Well, now they've kept it there. 10 million people watched South Carolina UCLA. No UConn.
Right. No, and Tennessee's almost a generation ago. But I mean,
Right.
when people think women's basketball, I think most people think UConn first. And if you were to ask another top program, South Carolina's pretty damn close to being there. But Tennessee would probably be the next program people mention. I think. I could be dead wrong, David. But because they have a lot of history and they had a lot of great teams under Pat Summitt.
10 million. That's an audience.
Yes.
That every Fox, NBC, CBS, they all their executives saw that number and went, "What? Are you serious? Sunday afternoon? Easter
David,
Sunday?"
Right. How many NBA final games did that beat?
I think it beat everyone but the deciding game.
That's what I thought. I mean, it's UCLA and South Carolina.
Yeah, 10 million. Easter Sunday. Right.
UConn and South Carolina on Friday, a bad television night on the 4-letter network, did nearly 5.5 million.
I mean, Mark, doesn't a game 7 in the NHL, depending on who's playing in it, do around 5 to 7 million?
Yes.
I mean, that's for the whole kit and caboodle.
And this is a semifinal game. Now, again, UConn, I think, draws a big audience. They've got a following, and It's a Northeast team. But the carryover from it, the people that stuck around and watched the second game, and come on, we all just got done watching the tournament. And we all know it's at least 30, if not 40 minutes between games. That's plenty of time to turn the TV off or go to something else. Texas UCLA did 5 million. So those are, when you text me that, I was floored by that.
I knew you would be, because I was mouth agape. And I'm a big women's sports fan. I want women's sports to thrive even more. And Mark, I don't know if I would have guessed higher than 6. I think I would have guessed the same number as Friday night on ESPN, to be honest with you, because my thought was with UConn out, plus Easter Sunday. I think that works against it. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it worked for it. Maybe by late afternoon, people sat down and they're like, well, let's see what I watch here.
It does mean one thing, David. Brunch is alive and well in this country.
Oh, is
Sunday
it ever?
brunch, particularly on Easter Sunday, is alive and well. Whether you're cutting shaving ham or whether you're at a big boy buffet that's got prime rib or a leg of lamb, you are having brunch on Easter Sunday.
Not only that, the game was a blowout. They had like an 18-point lead after the first quarter. They led by 30 or 40 after 3 quarters. The game was a total blowout. The NBA Finals last year, a 7-game series. Now, yeah, okay, it was Oklahoma City and Indiana. This is South Carolina, UCLA women. The NBA Finals going 7 averaged what just watched Sunday afternoon's women's championship game. A 7-game NBA Finals. All the games airing on ABC, same network. All of them airing in prime time, by the way.
Remarkable.
As Vern would say, oofta.
Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Miller and Moulton, a day away from the Masters. We'll catch you up on what happened last night. Starting fives next.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea, and by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You would be right, Javier. Javier, how did brunch go at the club Easter Sunday? Was it packed? I'm convinced by those TV numbers that Easter brunch is back and big. That is the brunch day, right? I mean, more than any Mother's Day or Easter, which is a bigger brunch? I mean, those are your two big brunch days of the year. I mean, not that brunch isn't great any Sunday, but the Michigan kid, the old school brunch, and I'm talking the buffet brunch, not the place that serves some breakfast stuff and some lunch stuff off the menu. $3.89. Holy shit. That's a pretty big number, my man. Wow. That's true. You're right. $3.89. What would be a big dinner there? Like when you do whether it's an event, and I don't mean like the invitational, but what would be a big dinner night there? How many covers would you do? No way you're what, 300 tops? I would think 250. $3.89. Ooh. Hopefully you're closed on Monday for the staff, but probably not during season. That's interesting, Empire. I've never really thought about brunch on Derby Day. Thought about bourbon. Okay, that's so 130 more than a big dinner. Wow. Did you go lamb or prime rib? What'd you go with? What were the proteins? That's all I really care about. Our club charged an arm and a leg, and they didn't even put what the menu was on the thing. Easter brunch, and it was expensive. I obviously was here. But I'm like, dang, you better be doing better than you used to. Yeah, exactly. That's a busy Friday night, man. That's a lot of covers there. Wow. I think our club would be pretty excited about numbers like that. Because to me, I would blow up our main dining room. No one wants to sit there anyhow. Everybody wants to sit in the bar. Ooh, look at you. So you had all three. You had all three. You had the ham, the prime rib, and the lamb. That's what I'm talking about. That's a protein station right there. That's what I'm talking about for a carving station. Don't just give me ham. If you just give me ham and an Easter brunch, you're cheap. Like our club usually was. But you're in Naples, Javier. I'm in Estero. Trust me, there's a difference. Correct, Empire. Those are the two biggies to me.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Whit Watson in an hour. It's a hump day. That means Seth Everett will join us. And Amanda Christovich. She was at the Final Four in Indy. She will join us during the bonus hour or the pro hour.
Thank you.
As Mark called it yesterday, although we're bringing her on to discuss the president's executive order concerning college sports that will go into effect August 1st.
Well, in our pro markets, they care about the Gators in both of them a lot.
Well, not only that, you could argue it was college sports, pro sports.
Well, it is. I don't even, David, can you even argue it anymore?
Well, we're missing what, a CBA and a cap. Although they tried to put a cap on it, and well, that lasted a long time. I think it's just a cap for some. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
We'll start with the NHL. This was the game in hand for the Lightning against Buffalo in their division. They were tied heading into last night. There's very few games left. They were only 2 points behind the Carolina Hurricanes for best record in the Eastern Conference. The night could not have gone worse for Tampa Bay. They gave up 2 power play goals in a 13-second span midway through the third period, gave up 5 in the third, and lost to the Ottawa Senators 6-2. Along the way, Carolina beat Boston 6-5, so the Hurricanes now 4 points ahead of the Lightning. Oh, and the Sabres and the Canadiens, because Montreal beat the Panthers 4-3 in a shootout. So Tampa, Buffalo, and Montreal all tied for the division lead.
As hot as Buffalo's been for now what seems to be 2.5 months, there's no one hotter in the league than the Montreal Canadiens. They are on fire heading into the playoffs right now.
They had won 8 in a row before losing over the weekend to Jersey, and then they come back and beat the Panthers in a shootout. Columbus and Detroit, 2 teams, 2 points out of the playoffs. They were playing each other. Felt like an elimination game, but as so often the case, it was a 3-point night. Columbus came away with 2, Detroit with 1. Blue Jackets 4-3 in a shootout. Columbus remains 2 points behind Ottawa for the final playoff spot. The Wings are now 3 points back.
Ottawa way ahead of both in the regulation win department. I mean, it's not close. They're 8 ahead of Columbus, 6 ahead of Detroit. Detroit giving up the tire with 16 seconds left. Quite a team.
Crushing point that they gave away, but not only that, they would have helped bury Columbus because they would have had the 2 points and Columbus would have gotten nothing. Regulation wins, by the way, if you don't know, is the tiebreaker in the NHL. It's not head-to-head or conference record or anything. It's most regulation wins. That's the first tiebreaker. The Flyers, what a 6-week run they're on. They beat New Jersey 5-1 to eliminate the Devils. The Flyers now firmly in third place in their division. And they're also comfortably ahead of Columbus. So they have 2 ways to make the playoffs, and they're in the lead in both. Colorado clinched the President's Trophy and handed a big loss to St. Louis. 3-1 Avs. St. Louis 6 points out of a playoff spot. There'll be a big hockey game tomorrow night in Dallas. The Stars and the Wild are separated by 2 points as to who's going to finish second and who's going to finish third in the division. And we'll have home ice against the other in the first round of the playoffs. They both won yesterday. Dallas 4-3 in overtime over Calgary. The Wild 5-2 over the Kraken. Mark, Vegas hired John Tortorella. They haven't lost since. Beat Vancouver 2-1 last night. That's 4 wins in a row. You throw in Edmonton losing in overtime to Utah and Anaheim getting shut out by Nashville. And Vegas and Edmonton are tied for first in the division. And Anaheim, who's had the lead in that division for months, has now fallen into third place. Nashville, by the way, with the win, moves into the wild card spot, a point ahead of the Kings, but the Kings have a game in hand. So you have all these games in the NHL that have all these playoff implications. Meanwhile, it's tough to find an NBA regular season game with meaning. The Heat got blown out in Toronto. It's as if they're begging to be the 10 seed. Toronto beat them by 26. The Raptors are the 6 seed. Top 6 seeds avoid the play-in. Celtics beat Charlotte 113-102. Jaylen Brown at 35, Jason Tatum at 23, and they both played the entire fourth quarter. You think their head coach is trying to get them ready for the playoffs? Celtics, by the way, magic number to clinch the 2 seed is 1. T-Wolves all but clinched the 6 seed with a win over Indiana by 20 last night. So how do you feel if you're a Laker fan? OKC came to town last night. No Luka, no LeBron. Huh? Yeah.
Well, you knew no Luka. I mean, at least
Right.
You
Yeah,
knew
that was a legit
going in.
injury. Right. But, load management, 41-year-old guy. Okay. No LeBron. OKC won by 36. 123-87. Their magic number to clinch the 1 seed and home court throughout all the playoffs is 1. Lakers, with the loss, fall back to a tie for 4th with Houston. Rockets won in Phoenix, 119-105. Suns seem locked into the 7 seed. That's the play-in. But now Denver's the 3. The Lakers and Rockets are a game back in 4th. Mark, the Lakers could go from the 3 to the 5, all because of the Luka injury, and that would be a pretty big slippage.
No, there's no doubt. And obviously, you flip a coin, even if Luka was there. Houston and LA, I think you flip a coin. Now with no Luka, it could be losing home court and being bounced in the first round.
Clippers beat Dallas 116-103. Right now, LA is the 8th seed, a game ahead of Portland. Remember, if you're a 7-8 in the NBA, you have 2 shots to win 1 game to advance into the playoffs. If you're the 9-10, it's elimination. They play each other, losers out. Then the winner plays the loser of the 7-8, losers out. Oh, one other NBA game. This was a regulation game. New Orleans 156, Utah 137. If you had over 292.5, you were a winner. College basketball, North Carolina officially introduced Michael Malone as their men's coach last night around dinner. Meanwhile, both Gino Auriemma and Dawn Staley, they both released statements yesterday. Staley asking, please, it's time to move on. She also said nice things about Gino in her statement. Gino gave the apology he should have given Saturday. He absolutely threw himself at the mercy of the court in his apology yesterday. That's what he should have released Saturday. As he said, I lost myself. I embarrassed everything I represent. Myself, my family, my school, the sport. Okay. Yes, that was the apology, Gino. And he mentioned Dawn by name multiple times. Baseball. Hey, 21,000 and change for game 2 at home for the Rays. Of course, it helps when the Cubs are in town. And the Cubs won 9-2. Bregman, who'd been in a slump, had 3 hits. Yankees scored 4 in the 8th. Rosario, his second homer of the night, a 3-run shot in the 8th, won it 5-3. Hey, the Red Sox won a game. 3 in the 6th. They beat Milwaukee 3-2. They're 3-8. Gunnar Henderson homered again for the Orioles in a 4-2 win over the White Sox. 2 teams, Mark, this is what they say are going in different directions. The Dodgers have won 5 in a row. Toronto has lost 6 in a row. LA 4-1. Texas 3 in the 5th beat Seattle 3-2. Skubal imploded in the 5th, gave up 4 runs, lost to Minnesota 4-2.
Who can't score. I mean, the Twins have had a lot of trouble hitting, and they rock Skubal in the 5th.
And the Tigers are off to a 4-7 start. That's not ideal.
And Scooble's 1-2.
Mark talked about it earlier. Sandy Alcantara took a shutout into the ninth. He came into the game having thrown 16 shutout innings. In and around and out, he gave up a hit and a walk. He gets replaced. The closer couldn't protect the 2-0 lead with runners on first and second. Cincinnati stole bases, scored on a sac fly and a wild pitch, and then scored 4 in the 10th to beat the Marlins 6-3. Mets have won 4 in a row. They beat Arizona 4-3 and 10. We had a brawl in Los Angeles last night. Angels and Braves. And the pitcher for the Braves, Mark, did something that you don't see many people do. He and the batter, former Brave, Jorge Soler, were kind of mouthing off to each other. Soler starts slowly walking to the mound. Then he decides, you know what, I'm going to do this. Okay. The pitcher had the baseball in his hand. He's throwing punches with the baseball in his hand. He connected on one of them. That had to hurt.
The hand or the guy? I mean, that's a good way to
guy.
break your hand. I mean, to be honest, that's a really good way to break your hand.
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but if you hit me in the side of the jaw holding a baseball, my guess is that would hurt. But yes, could have hurt both of them. Oh, by the way, Braves won the game 7-2. Giants snap a 4-game skid. They shut out the Phillies 6-0. Skeens took a no-no into the 6th. Pirates 7-1 over the Padres. Washington's got a bad bullpen. Cardinals took advantage. 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 10th. Beat the Nats 7-6 and 10. Mark, remember how bad the Rockies were last year?
Yes.
Listen, no one thinks the Rockies are going to be a good team this year. This really shows how bad last year was. So the Rockies beat the Astros last night 5-1. They're 5-6 on the season. So, no great shakes. But they've managed in their first 4 series of the year to win 2 of them. Do you know how long it took for them to win their second series of the year last year?
July?
Almost mid-June.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. So they're a good 2 months ahead of last year's pace.
Bet the over.
I think it was like 56 and a half.
It was below 60.
Yeah. By the way, do you and I have a problem the fact that we both knew that? Is that a sign of concern?
No, the season just started. It's still fresh on the brain. That's okay.
Gotcha. Guardians held the Royals to 1 hit, a Carter Jensen homer, and scored 1 in the 9th to beat Kansas City 2-1. NFL, Fernando Mendoza has said, no, I'm going to stay home with friends and family. I'm not going to the draft in Pittsburgh. Mark, he will be the 5th number 1 overall pick in the last 10 drafts to not attend the draft. Draft is 2 weeks from tomorrow, by the way. Kyle Pitts signed his franchise tag. He'll make $15 million this year. That's if they don't announce something else. They have till July 15th to work out an extension. All right. And finally, a tradition unlike any other, the Masters. They released pairings yesterday. So tomorrow morning, DeChambeau will tee off at 10:07 with Matthew Fitzpatrick and Xander Schauffele. Rory tees off at 10:31 with Cam Young and Mason Howell. The afternoon has a couple more sexy pairings. Scheffler tees off second to last group, 144 with Robert McIntyre and Gary Woodland. John Rahm tees off at 108 with Chris Gotterup and Ludwig Oberg. Spieth, Justin Rose, and Koepka tee off at 120. 17 former Masters champions in the 91-player field. Jack, Gary, and Watson honorary starters at 7:20 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that's the starting 5 brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST, Business, Sports, and Tourism.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
EPA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I respect the fact that he plays every game, DC. I don't love the way he plays the game. I respect the guy because he is good. But Ambient, you're fighting an uphill battle. You know, Jokic, yeah, he's fun to watch. There's no doubt he's going to get a triple-double. It's the same as watching Westbrook. He doesn't play any defense, and he makes great passes. He's a great passer. His scoring isn't exciting. His rebounding isn't exciting. I mean, Dennis Rodman was an exciting rebounder. Like, that was actually fun. You missed the best part. This is an old guy on the porch. I mean, the players even laugh. David, I think I had seen it before, but one of the podcasts, and I don't know who does it because I don't know the faces well enough, and that's on me. But it's an old clip of Vernon Maxwell when he's on the podcast talking about playing in Seattle when Hakeem slapped him around in the locker room, and it's a story of legend. And he goes, "Did Hakeem really slap you around?" And first off, we couldn't get Vernon Maxwell on the air because he can't get 3 words in without an F-bomb or an N-bomb.
No.
And he is flipping hysterical. And he's talking about how long of a walk. You guys know how long a walk is to the locker room in Seattle? And he goes, "When I'm mad, I spit." He goes, "Well," and Hakeem said something to him, and he turns and starts N-bombing Hakeem. He goes, "He slapped me." And they're all cracking up. I mean, they are all three. Well, Vernon's not. He's laughing. He's having fun with it. And basically, he says, you're going to get slapped by a key. Basically, it implies that he would get his gun. And Vernon says, "We were in Seattle. How far am I going to walk?" Those big hands, he slapped the blank out of me. My goodness, I was laughing hard. That and the other one I seen recently that was great. Kevin Garnett was talking about when he first got into the league about how the players would give it to the refs and like just basically how the refs are even soft now. What they call tease for. If you watch, he goes, you watch Barkley and Jordan and the way they gave it to the refs and the way the refs gave it back. And he named, Bavetta was one of them,
right.
was one of them, but he named like 6 refs who would have no, you want a T and MF and the players.
Saw a clip the other day of a Knicks Sixers game.
Ambient, I'm not anti-NBA. I am not. I am anti this product. I am anti-load management. I grew up loving the NBA. I loved the NBA more than the NHL my whole life, from Dr. J in the 70s on. I'm 56 years old. I watched that league until I started working in hockey regularly. The playoffs are not a must-watch. They're not a must-watch until the conference semifinals. You're young. You don't go back and watch some actual real basketball. You don't know what you're talking about. This league sucks compared to the Jordan days. It ain't close, man. Go watch the Pistons and the Bulls battle it out. It ain't close. You had first-round games with the Hawks. I mean, one of my favorite series of all time is the Knicks Pistons. I think that's a first-round series with Bernard King. It was glorious.
Best of 5, first round. Yeah.
And my team lost.
I think in overtime of game 5.
Yeah. You
Ambient,
like it. If Denver wasn't good, Ambient, you wouldn't give a damn.
And Ambient, we talk about low NHL ratings all the time.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Let's get over it together, shall we? Seth Everett, 1 hour from now. Amanda Christovich, 2 hours from now. Our Masters previews continue. Whit Watson will join us in about 35 minutes time. 2 weeks tomorrow is the NFL draft. And the Masters, of course, tees off in a little more than 24 hours. Did you see there's a single?
Well, there has to be. It's 91. Yeah,
exactly.
So that means the marker, the best player at Augusta, gets to play with one of the players, right? That's the long-standing tradition that essentially the best player at Augusta plays with that guy, right?
Right. Lee Haitung, I believe, ends up being the single. So when Jack and Watson and Gary Player do the ceremonial tee shot at 7:20, I believe at 7:30, it's the single with the marker. And apparently the marker's pretty good at Augusta.
He's beat these players before.
Yes. Apparently there's been gentlemanly wagers, okay, and the marker has won.
His name is Michael McDermott. It was Jeff Knox forever. He was the best, basically the club champ at Augusta National. And now it's Michael McDermott. He is a fantastic amateur player. And as it says in the story that I have, these guys, Knox before him and now McDermott, are quietly known for shooting some really good scores at Augusta National.
Mm-hmm. Also, he's needed sometimes for the Saturday round.
Yes, if they have an odd number, right?
Right. So, thought I read a story where Rory was the single on Saturday a few years ago, and this guy beat him by 1 on Saturday.
So, if you don't have someone to root for, and if you want a guy to root for in this year's Masters, now trust me, the odds of this guy playing on Saturday I think the odds you could get of this guy making the cut would be stupendous. I mean, I think you'd get big odds just for this guy to play on Saturday. But it is a great story. Brandon Holtz. Don't know if you caught this, David. He is a 39-year-old real estate agent from Bloomington, Illinois. He played basketball and apparently looks like a tight end. He's like 6'4". And he played a little bit of college basketball, and then he decided to play golf. He played at Illinois State. He was a reserve shooting guard. Apparently in high school, he scored 68 in a game. So the guy could play, obviously. He could shoot.
Wow.
But he started playing golf after college in 2009. Played on the mini tours. Actually, apparently had a runner-up finish at the Illinois Open, that prestigious tournament. David had made $14,000.
That's not bad.
But he won the Mid-Am.
Then you're in.
And by winning the Mid-Am, he's playing at Augusta National this weekend. And the Mid-Am, for the longest time, really and truly, was a lot of guys who were actual, and this guy did play mini tour, so I guess he qualifies as a pro. But the Mid-Am, quite often, are guys that decided to go back to being amateurs, and they're older. And the joke is on tour that the Mid-Am guy plays more than the tour guy, because these guys are, they're doing business on the course and things like that. But if you want someone to root for, Brandon Holtz, he won the I don't know if it was a par 4. I guess he won the Mid-Am by going driver to 8 feet and making the putt to close out his opponent in a match play event. So again, if you're just looking for something fun, when you see the scores in the amateurs, Brandon Holtz, a 39-year-old amateur playing, and the fun thing is, David, is that apparently his dad years and years and years ago won the lottery for Augusta, and I guess you could win the lottery. It wasn't yearly then. He won it to get lifetime badges. So here's this Holtz guy who went every year to the Masters with his dad. Talks about going on the 6th green and betting other patrons $1 on who would hit the shot closest to the pin off the tee. So he's someone who has gone to the Masters numerous times and doing so with his father that I think highly of, because I was lucky enough to only go once and I went with my dad. So if there's a guy I'm rooting for to pull a rabbit out of the hat and, somehow shoot 72-72, it's Brandon Holtz.
Well, he tees off at 9:02 tomorrow, Mark, with Bubba Watson and Nicholas Echeverria. So there you go. And his Friday tee time is a little after noon. So chance to see him tomorrow afternoon if he, hits a great shot or if he's doing pretty well.
Well, his dad caddied for him in the Mid-Am. I would imagine that his father will be on the bag at Augusta. So that's just a fun little Masters story for you as we get ready. I have not filled out my, there's a few guys that I think I may put a few shekels on. I think I'm going Schauffele and Patrick Reed.
Okay.
I think those are the two that I'm playing. I might add a third that's a little bit closer to better odds, but I'm like you. I love Oberg's game. I don't trust him.
I don't trust him down the stretch, and I'm not betting on the top 5 here. I'm betting a win. So
right.
Can you close this sucker out? Hey, let me throw a prop bet at you. And I'm not saying this is a legit prop bet. I'm just saying I'm making it up. So the top 3 players on the PGA Tour would be Scheffler, Rory, and Schauffele. Who are we putting in as number
odds,
3?
You're right. By odds, you're right.
Well, okay. So we'll take those 3. Scheffler, Rory, Schauffele. What if I took the top 3 non-PGA Tour players? Bryson, Rahm, and Reed. Want to go head to head?
No, I don't. Now, if you take Reed off and I give you the third live guy, I'd be more apt to do it. I love
Right.
what you're doing there. You're stealing Reed, who
Right.
is no longer a member of the live tour.
Because I said non-PGA, because he's not a member of the PGA Tour till late August.
Correct.
So, I mean, this is one of the only times you're going to get to see Patrick Reed play golf this year, unless you watch the DP World Tour at 9 a.m. on the weekend. So I'm just saying, I really like the non-PGA threesome. I think the winner is going to come from Rahm, Reed, and Bryson.
Rahm and DeChambeau are the second betting favorites. They're both 9-1. Put it this way: just take the third guy out. Throw Schauffele and Reed out. If you were to say heads up, Rahm, DeChambeau versus Scheffler, Rory, total score 4 days, who wins?
I'll take the LIV guys.
I might lean that way too. Rory's not in the bet. He's hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. He hasn't played since the Players, and neither Scheffler, right, or the week after, and they just had a kid 11, 12 days ago. So who knows if he's, coming in here 100% sharp. But obviously, they both know their way around this course. They've got 3 wins between them. Scheffler's short game at Augusta is, I mean, his short game on tour is really good. His short game at Augusta is amazing. I mean, I'm not saying he's like Seve or Phil, but he's unbelievable short game at Augusta. And Mark, to me, I'm curious tomorrow because Scotty's struggled on the greens this year, and that's on the PGA Tour. Now he's going to go to Augusta. They're going to be faster, crustier later in the day. It's going to be dry all week. Okay. I just want to see his short putting Thursday because we've watched a lot of Scheffler this year. He's good for at least one missed putt inside of 3.5 feet every round this year.
Yeah, he's got a little Mickelson in him in that regard. He really does. And then I could also see Scheffler pulling a 97 Tiger, a 40-30 in his first round. Getting off. I mean, would you at all be surprised to see Scheffler go 38-32, if you know what I mean?
No, wouldn't surprise me if Scheffler does what Rory did last year. I forget what Rory shot in the first round, but he followed it up with 66-66. It wouldn't shock me if Scheffler goes 73, 68, 67. It just wouldn't. I mean, doesn't it sound crazy betting, especially in the last 4 or 5 years? Hold on a second, Moulton. You want to bet against Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy in 2026 at Augusta? Have you taken a look at their track record in the last 4 tournaments? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Right. I mean, as you mentioned, Scheffler's putting hasn't been good. His iron play is not what we're used to seeing out of him. He just had a kid. So how much is he? I know he's ready. I mean, he's ready. This is the best player in the world. But I have a feeling the winner comes from a group that we're not as familiar with. And I know Schauffele would be, he's the next guy that's supposed to win one. So I don't know. I think we're going to have a great tournament. The weather is supposed to be beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to get some wind, which will make the course interesting. Obviously, with wind in 12 on Sunday, bring it on.
If I give you 10 under right now, would you take it? Or do you think
No.
You're going to have to do a couple better?
If you said 12, I'd say for sure.
Well, that's why I didn't say 12.
No, I know, but I think it's going to take 11 or 12.
Okay.
I think it's going to take 11 or 12. And let's hope that there's 5 guys fighting for it. I enjoy it more when there are a bunch of guys in it than when it's a mano battle. And we've had a lot of those 2-man battles on tour this year where guys have just sprung away from the group. But I don't think that'll happen this week at Augusta.
Well, and wouldn't it be nice with what's happened on the PGA Tour all year, which is basically whoever's leading after 54 holes doesn't win? Okay, it'd be nice to get that at Augusta, to be honest. Make it for a lot of Sunday drama.
Miller and Moulton. We'll talk more Masters with Whit Watson in 25 minutes. Seth Everett, top of the 8 o'clock hour, and Amanda Christovich later in the show.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Faro and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Faro and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
By the way, Jake Knapp 60-1. JJ Spawn and Terrell Hatton have the same odds. Wouldn't you take Spawn head to head?
Spawn over Hatton.
All
Yeah.
day. I like Hatton. Tanner, I'm with you. I'd root for Hatton, but I'll take JJ. I'd take that bet with you, Tanner. I would. I wish I was all in on McIntyre until I started looking at his history at Augusta, and it's not good. And typically you have to have played decently there. His first year, he was T12, and then he's never finished in the top 20. He's missed the cut last year. He actually missed the tournament 2 years in a row because he didn't qualify. So that's where I was leaning, Phil, before I read up on it, to be brutally honest. Because when he blew the 54, but I like some of these guys that play well the week before but don't win.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Whit Watson will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time as we talk the Masters the day before it gets underway. The honorary starters will be hitting their tee shots 24 hours from right now.
It's National Empanada Day, David, and I don't know a place close enough to get one. I've seen a couple places, but I've not tested them. So I could send the son out on a mission this morning, but I'll probably just go with the normal bagel. If I was home, I'd probably be sending the wife this morning out to my little Cuban place close by, which is tremendous.
Well, can he do some digging online? Find something?
He'd have to get out of bed.
Well, you could dig online while in bed. Just grab the phone. Come on, get to work.
You are right.
Caretaker for the week. I mean, sometimes there's certain things you got to do. Like find me a good empanada place.
So that's where I'm at. That's what I saw today. We did not come up with a poll question, and I have to be brutally honest. There is something that's gone tremendously wrong with polls on X, and it's not just Miller and Moulton.
Nope.
Buster Only did a poll. It had like 230 votes. Buster Only gets like 10,000 votes when he does a poll question. Yeah. So there's something going on. My buddy Mike Solarte, who does sports in Charlotte, North Carolina, he and I were going back and forth because his poll question had no answers the other day. So there's something going on with poll questions right now. I mean, I would say there's part of me that likes to put the poll question I'd want to put up right now. Who wins in the two-man battle, Scheffler, Rory versus Rahm DeChambeau? I think that's a fun prop bet. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
Because those are the four betting favorites. 2 are live guys, 2 are PGA Tour guys. And, David has stuck with Rahm because, first off, Miller and Moulton have not been anti-live. The majority of you have been. Now, we totally agree no one watches it, no one cares, and we don't think the tour's working at all.
No.
Certain places, when they were in Australia, when they were in South Africa, a couple of places in the States, they do well. And my friends that went over to Miami had a great time. Thought the experience, anybody that I know that's been to a live event speaks very highly of the experience.
Yep.
But no one's watching it. They are basically in the abyss when it comes to golf. We still watch the PGA Tour. It didn't hurt the PGA Tour's numbers. The PGA Tour's golf numbers on TV are what they are. Are they much better than they were before? No, not really. The Masters is always the highest rated tournament every year. The golf is what the golf is. But LIV has not done anything to hurt it. It just hasn't done anything for itself.
Right. And part of the biggest reason why we have been, I guess, compared to most of the rest of you, open-minded about LIV was that for the first 2 years of LIV, the PGA Tour was stealing just about everything they were doing. And we're like, well, how can you be pro PGA Tour and against these guys? Because the PGA Tour is literally turning their tour into LIV with all these non-cut, smaller field events, having the 8 signature events a year with $20 to $25 million purses. Oh yeah, a LIV purse is $25 million. $4 million to the winner. Oh yeah, LIV gives 5. I mean, they're doing a lot of LIV stuff.
And now they're playing 4 rounds in LIV golf, which was
Right.
something that they had to do to try to get some world golf points. They're not getting what they should be with the fields that they have, but it is what it is. But that being said, I wonder if now playing 4 rounds makes any difference. John Rahm's won 2 tournaments on LIV. No one's paid any attention other than David, or if you listen to the starting 5. I mean, you want to know what's going on LIV, 6:38 Monday morning. We're going to give you the LIV results. But Rahm's won 2 tournaments. And that's why, Patrick Reed to me on the DP World Tour, he's won 2 tournaments, one with a pretty damn good field in the tournament in Dubai.
Bryson's won his last 2 starts, both in playoffs on LIV. So, we'll see. We'll see. Bryson did not handle the final round at Augusta well last year. He didn't.
And I worry about his flat stick. That's my problem with Bryson when it becomes, down to the nitty gritty. Can he putt well enough? Can he make putts? It is fascinating, that little behind the scenes look we got with he and Rory and the argument they had on who was closer. And Rory's like, no, we're not flipping a tee.
Right.
Because Bryce, well, why just flip it? Rory's like, no.
Right,
And
no.
Bryce said, you go. And what does Rory do? He buries it. What's Bryson do? He misses it.
Yep.
Maybe the turning point in the tournament.
Although Rory had such a up and down day, it may have been the turning point for Bryson. Not sure it was the turning point for Rory, but last year was memorable. We'll see what this year produces. Not to beat a dead horse, but I just want to ask you, I want to make you the commissioner of the NBA. Did you hear what the Sacramento Kings did last night?
No.
They're beating Golden State by 1 with 3 minutes to go. They start intentionally fouling Warrior players. First, they fouled Seth Curry. They did that a couple times. Then they fouled somebody else. I mean, they were trying to
I'd take away their first round pick, David. I'm serious. I'd take away their first round pick.
Apparently, I looked it up. Apparently, and this is vague, but if you're a commissioner, I think you have to do it. You can fine a franchise up to $5 million for, quote, conduct detrimental to the league. Shouldn't he have been throwing these fines around like chiclets?
I don't know how many times you can do it. I would do it as many times as I could. I don't know if that's just a one-time deal, because $5 million for a franchise that's worth billions, I don't know what that. I just don't know what that does, David.
I understand, but don't you have to make, I don't know, appearance's sake, make it look like you're strong as a commissioner? I mean, remember the example like a week and a half ago? Utah has a 10-point lead at home with 5 minutes to go. They take their starters out.
See, David, let me just propose this to you. And this isn't fair because I know it's not coming from these people. This is coming from general managers and owners. You know who you start fining? Players and coaches for conduct detrimental to the league. You got to get the player. No, and hear me out. You just proposed taking the draft away a couple of days ago, David.
Yep.
What I am saying is, if you start finding coaches for, even though we know they're being instructed to do it, but find coaches for trying to lose on purpose, for essentially fixing a game, they'll quit doing it. The players will quit doing it. Because I don't know how you get an owner whose franchise is worth $3 billion, $4 billion to react to a $5 million fine. Because they know if they get a lottery pick and they become really good, they make that money back tenfold easily.
Mark, I can't come up with the example of what it is that I could tell you, but let's just say I own the radio station and you hosted the show. Okay. And I tell you, you need to go on the air and say and do this. Something that is just wrong. It's very inappropriate. It's wrong. And yet the FCC should fine you, not me. I just think that if you don't do what I say, you're going to be out of a job. Never mind the fact that I could fine, as NBA commissioner, I could fine $5 million. Hell, that's a coach's year's salary. It could be multiple players' year's salary.
I understand, David. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I'm ending it this way because then players aren't going to do it anymore.
Boy, it'd be great if it was done one time. It gave people be talking.
Because this is a joke.
Yep.
We've known who the playoff teams are for a month, and all the teams are doing that are not in the playoffs is making sure every night they lose.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, someone texted the show and I had not seen it, and maybe you did, but just look up guy loses pants for foul ball.
Okay.
At the Rays Cubs game, a Rays fan. Well, he maybe should have been wearing a belt. That's all I'm saying. They'd have to blur it on news. I get it. Well, you may be right. He was not a small man. Good line, Robes. Good line. Yeah, I will say, Drutharian, you can't say anything about Brady anymore. I mean, because Aikman just came out and said they hired me because of my knowledge as a broadcaster. So I don't know how there's any problem with Brady being a broadcaster. I mean, all's fair.
None, DC.
I was looking to see if Boston hit anybody from Milwaukee last night. They did, but I don't think it was on purpose because it was with the bases loaded. Good morning, sir. How are you? Whit, can you hear us?
Gotcha.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How's my audio? Is it okay? You want me to use a mic?
Perfect. No,
you're
you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
Is there a tea time in your future today, Whit?
No, I wish. It's still raining, man. It's been raining for 2 days here.
It's funny. I'm in Tampa. It was supposed to rain all day yesterday, and it never rained.
It's gross.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. That's when Seth Everett makes his weekly appearance. We'll discuss the president's executive order last week, what it will mean for college sports beginning on August 1st at 9 a.m. Eastern with Amanda Christovich. Right now, our Masters Talk continues with Whit Watson. He hosts a show which can be heard in Orlando and Jacksonville on Saturdays. You can also get it on the iHeartRadio app. The show is called Making the Cut. Making the Cut with Whit Watson. Also check out his work at whitwatson.com and follow him on X at Real Whit Watson. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. This is gripping for the radio audience, but this morning I brought my Diet Coke in a 2020 Masters Tervis.
There you
Very
go.
nice. I probably should go throw.
Is welcome Masters. This is like a replica of like the 1930 something Masters emblem. I was told by my children in no uncertain terms, no more Masters memorabilia after my 10th year of covering it for Westwood One. My son, who played golf in high school, said, "Dad, I'm good. Just stop."
Wow.
Yeah, my wife loves the stuff. She's got all kinds of like tumblers and pullovers and stuff like that. The first year I went, with orders from family members. I spent about $2,000 in the merchandise stand.
And they don't gouge there. I mean, to spend $2,000, you got to go through it. It's not like it's cheaper than the normal pro shop.
No, that was orders from dad, father-in-law, mother-in-law, my kids. They were young then too, and they actually wanted things. And then my average order in the merchandise shop each year was about between $500 and $700. It can go, and it's not like you said. It's not like they're not overcharging. It's just retail, just normal prices for stuff, and it goes quick. It goes quick.
I have to admit, Whit, sorry to say this, I believe your son is the only person in North America on record as saying no more from Augusta. I think he is the only one.
Yeah, he got spoiled there for a while. I have to admit.
Obviously,
he had a lot
just a bit. Hey, came up with an interesting prop bet.
Okay.
Don't know if it's actually available, but we came up with this earlier in the show. So I'll give you the big three on the PGA Tour. Let's say there's Scheffler, Rory, and Schauffele. Okay, let's just go with them. Okay, we debate Schauffele, is he 3 or 4? Let's just go with that as a big three. And give me the big three not on the PGA Tour, at least until August. Okay, Bryson, Rahm, and Reed.
Ooh.
Which big three grouping would you take this week?
Wow. Because Reed's kind of my dark horse guy. I talked to somebody yesterday about this. Reed's the guy that's sneaking under the radar and no one's paying attention to, coming back as a former champion and playing arguably as well as anybody that you just named this year. He's number 1 on the DP World Tour money list. He is going to be back on the PGA Tour in August, if not earlier, via sponsor exemptions. DeChambeau's won 2 of the last 3 events that he played in on Live, and Rahm was second in one of those 2 events. Boy, I might have to go the non-PGA guys only because, Scotty had a couple of sub top 20 finishes wedged in there, which is unusual for him. And just because DeChambeau's playing so well and because Reed is playing so well, if we're judging guys coming into this Masters based on form right now, how can you argue against Reed? He's number 1 on the money list in Europe. He's the best player on that tour by a wide margin. He's about 1,000 points ahead of the guy in second. That's a great prop bet. Fantastic topic of conversation. And, I'm going to have to take the non-PGA Tour guys.
Yeah, we're kind of leaning with you, and not to mention Reed won in Dubai, and that's a legit field. I mean, it's one thing to be doing what he's doing on the DP World Tour, but he's done it against some pretty damn good fields. I want to steal the name of your show and ask you, who's a top guy you're fearful that won't make the cut?
Make the cut. You always look at past champions that might not make the cut. And I think it's not a surprise. Sergio Garcia has spoken openly about the fact that he's not playing very well. He really sounded like in his press conference that he doesn't expect to make the weekend.
Well, is it the stat he's made it once since he won?
That sounds about right. Yeah. And he's not playing well on Live,
right,
which is not the toughest. It's a 54-hole shotgun start. He's not very happy with his game. I wouldn't be surprised if Bubba Watson is not there for the weekend. He hasn't played well and he's been hurt. He hasn't played much golf, frankly, since he signed with Live. In terms of the guys that I expect you're asking about, I think it would be unimaginable for Scotty Scheffler to not play the weekend, but he has not been, and it's been well documented that he's not been Scotty Scheffler, at least for the first few months of this year, even despite the fact that he has a win. He's not been at the level that we've expected him to be, right? He's been outside the top 20, which we find hard to fathom. There's not anyone that I would point to as saying really, he's completely out of form. And that's what the dominant storyline heading into this week has been. There is no obvious favorite going into this Masters. There's 12 guys that could win it, and nobody would be surprised on Sunday afternoon if it was any of those 12. There's no one horse going into the week that everyone is pointing to as, oh, he's the guy. Scheffler is the betting favorite the last time I checked, but would anybody be surprised at McIlroy? Or we haven't talked about Cameron Young, who's only the third-ranked player in the world and about due to win one of these. And I think that's why everyone's so jacked about this week, is that there is no obvious favorite.
Well, the other thing is, Whit, I don't think there's ever been more top players who have been more inactive in the 3 weeks leading up to the Masters. I mean, in fact, I think there's a stat that basically like almost all of the players who have won the last 15 Masters played within 2 weeks of the Masters. And this year, I mean, Cameron Young hasn't played since winning the Players.
Yeah.
Scheffler hasn't played in 3 weeks. Rory hasn't played in 3 weeks. DeChambeau hasn't played since the back-to-back wins on LIV, which I think was 3 weeks ago. Same, therefore, with Rahm. I don't know that Reed has played either much in the last month. I mean, it's amazing how inactive the top players have been heading into this tournament, in which usually guys play either 2 weeks before a major or the week before a major.
So maybe by that logic, we should expect entry number 91 in this 91-man field to be the favorite. And that was Jordan Spieth, who played last week at Valero, trying to, much like Phil Mickelson, who always played his way into major championships. He always preferred to play the week before a major. Spieth played last week at Valero, and he was the last participant to officially enter, to register for the Masters this week. So his caddy has bib number 91. And isn't that kind of an odd story? Lost in all of the Tiger Woods hoopla, that Phil Mickelson is also not going to be at this Masters. But yeah, to your point, it is kind of curious that a lot of the top players have taken so much time off. But I think that's also just a factor of the modern day PGA Tour, that more and more players, because they have the ability to travel privately, and because they pay so much more attention to taking time off and rest, and how they set up their schedule is so critical because of sponsor obligations, and because they play so many more different places around the world, that scheduling is much more important to a guy like Rory than it is maybe to a player that doesn't have those kind of obligations around the world. So yeah, and it's also curious, I think, to know which players get to Augusta earlier for practice rounds, like which guys come in, a week ahead of time to scout. I mean, Rory was there with his dad Easter Sunday checking out the golf course, and which players didn't. I mean, Spieth and those guys that played Valero, didn't get there till Monday at the earliest. And other players were having scouting trips as early. If they're past champions, they can go as early as they want, during the off season. So yeah, all of that factors and gives us something to talk about heading into the week.
All right. Oberg last year, didn't handle the pressure very well. I love his game, but he had a 54-hole lead this year and didn't do it. McIntyre had a lead and he's not played well at Augusta. How important is the fact that this year's been weird with that? For the most part, guys that have had 54-hole leads on regular tour events have had a hard time winning. So when you look at it, 54-hole lead, you think that guy can hold it. But when you look at like the Obergs and the McIntyres, how much of a shot do you give them when they haven't been able to hold leads in regular PGA Tour events this year?
That's a good question. It's a fair point. And I wonder also about a guy like DeChambeau, who had a shot at this event and couldn't keep it together with McIlroy. I think that experience matters at this event because the venue doesn't change. You know what you're going to get going into the back nine on Sunday. Those holes don't move. Those hole locations don't change. You know exactly what's facing you going into the back nine on Sunday at Augusta National, and you've got to be ready for it. It's the pressure. It's almost the pressure of knowing. In many ways, if you're at a U.S. Open or a PGA or an Open Championship with a venue that differs every year and conditions that change every year, there might be a little bit of maybe more freedom in having to kind of face those conditions that change minute to minute. At Augusta National, we've all been watching the same videos for 50 years. Everyone knows exactly what it's going to look like and feel like. And I think that might be a tougher challenge for the player than not. And you're right. Those players you mentioned, although McIntyre's playing some great golf right now.
I know.
I mean, he's hard to bet against going into this week. But yeah, yes, I do think it's a factor. I think the ability to close is a factor, and being able to be a convenient amnesiac and forget those experiences this year. If a guy like Oberg or McIntyre is in that position going into the weekend at Augusta National, would be useful. That's not something you want to be thinking about heading into Sunday at the Masters.
Well, it's not arguable. The guy with the best record here who hasn't won is Justin Rose. Shot 66 on Sunday last year, lost in a playoff for the second time. He's got 3 second-place finishes in the last 11 Masters. I think it's going to be dry. I think par is going to be a better score as the tournament goes on. He's a grinder. How about a few shekels on Justin Rose?
Is he still 45, or has he turned 46 yet? He was 45 when he was going toe-to-toe with McIlroy, as I recall. That was the storyline, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't Nicholas 46 when he won his Masters? I'm just throwing that out there.
40 years ago.
I mean, Rose still has the game. There's no question about that. He's defying time right now. He's in that Netherland where he's supposed to be treading water until the Champions Tour, but he's certainly not playing like a guy who's looking at the over 50 circuit. Yeah, he's competitive. I mean, I wouldn't. I was about to say I wouldn't look at him as a contender, but I'd be an idiot because he was contending last year. 12 months ago, he was contending at this golf tournament. And he knows the golf course. You're right. He's got the record that proves that he understands what you have to do to win there. He's got the shots. I think that what's going to hurt him is there's a lot of other guys that have the shots too, and a lot of other players that are playing well going into this week that also are due, at this golf course. And for example, I think DeChambeau is going to be formidable this time around. I think he's on form and knows what needs to happen at Augusta National. I think he's kind of got the silly out of his system now and understands what it takes to win this major. There's a number of guys that I think are going to be a challenge this week.
All right. That being said, 2 questions at once for you. One, who are you picking? And then what are you picking? Egg salad or pimento cheese?
Pimento cheese. Never been an egg salad guy. Pimento cheese all the way with a little black pepper on it. And in my media for entertainment purposes only, one and done, I took DeChambeau. I just think it's his turn. I think it's his chance. I think it'd be a fun win. I think, like I said, I think he's got the silliness out of his system. I think he understands what it takes to win on this golf course.
Whit Watson making the cut Saturdays. All right. iHeartRadio app, iHeartRadio in Orlando and Jacksonville. Follow him on X at Real Whit Watson. All right. If you ever go back to work it, all right, let us know. We will take the place of your son, okay, on the memorabilia merchandise list, okay?
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thanks, Whit.
See ya.
Whit Watson. Getting ready for the Masters. They will have teed off. At least 2-3 groups will have by this point tomorrow.
It's so funny you say that because my son's now gone twice since I've gone. And he got me something the first year. And I told him, I don't ever want anything again from there unless I'm buying it. I have no interest in someone else buying me something from Augusta National. If I'm there, I'll pick up something for myself. But I don't want a gift from Augusta. I want to be at Augusta.
Yeah, to anyone listening, I'm exactly the opposite. Let me know. I'll give you my size, and I will tip also. And I'm now a really good tipper. Okay, didn't used to be. Now I am.
He was an average tipper.
I was.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, Seth.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Doing really well.
Yeah? Good.
Yeah, everything's going as good as it can be. Should be out of here in, roughly 3 weeks.
Okay. That works.
Mm-hmm. Getting a little stir crazy.
I'm sure you are. I can just imagine.
But I will say sports has been my savior.
I'm sure.
I mean,
it's a busy time. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
it's
so
a
much.
great time to watch sports. It sucks in one regard is that when I'm home in Fort Myers, I'm not blacked out for Lightning games on ESPN Plus.
But here you are.
I am here. And I don't get the NHL Network period. So I've missed a couple NHL games that have bugged me, but
right.
But no, it's it is what it is.
I hear you.
The college basketball was good. I pretty much completed rewatching The Sopranos.
Nice. I was gonna say, is there a show that like you could just start that you never did?
There's two. One, the
Succession?
show Shrinking
Oh,
on
Shrinking's
Apple
great.
TV. I
Fantastic.
think it's a tremendous show. What a good cast.
Tremendous show.
And good the cast, they obviously have chemistry. It's just well done.
Yeah, the
And
finale
then I
came
never
out
watched
last night.
Ted Lasso. So my wife and I, when she's
Oh.
here as my caretaker, she
Yep.
and I have been watching Ted Lasso, which is also brilliant.
You compare being gay to being a fan of the Denver Broncos. Greatest line in Ted Lasso.
I don't think I'm there yet.
Oh, you're getting there. Oh, so good. So good.
So did Arsenal win?
Arsenal had a big win yesterday. Yes. Champions League. Quarterfinals.
I almost texted our old producer, Colin, on Saturday because I got up and, there was what's on. And it's like, no, Champions or Premier League's on and Man City and Liverpool were on. And I'm a Man City guy from a long time ago for no real reason. And he was a Liverpool guy, and they were just slaughtering Liverpool. I'm like, I can't be that guy to not text a guy in 3 months and then say, hey, by the way, your team's getting their ass kicked.
Your team blows. Yeah, that was big. They were in Lisbon, Portugal yesterday. And they play Saturday at 7:30 in the morning, which is a goal. That's perfect for me. Before anything starts. Oh, tremendous.
Wasn't there like a huge one yesterday? Wasn't it like Bayern Munich and Man U or something?
That was the other Champions League game. That was fine. The winners, that's a quarterfinal match, so we'll have to eventually play one of those teams. CBS has this, it's the weirdest coverage. They try to be like inside the NBA, and they're all chummy. And they all goof around and make fun of each other. And I don't know who any of the people are. So it's like you're not in on the joke. So it's a really weird broadcast. Your boy Bob Harrick's going to do Sports with Friends next week on the Masters.
Here we go.
Cool.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete, final hour of the show. Southwest Florida, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice, Live Oak, Lake City, and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice are his two terrific podcasts. You can follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Hey, you've been busy the last few months. You were a guy that produced those two podcasts weekly for years. I think you did Sports with Friends weekly for a decade.
11 years, yeah.
And so for the last few months, because you got a lot going on, you said, listen, I got to drop down to 1 week I'll do one week I'll do the other. Just curious, how has your audience responded to that?
Oh, that's an interesting question. The numbers have not fluctuated anything greatly. And the sponsorship contracts, the guys who sell ads, and you guys know all about that, I just give them the dates ahead of time. And if a sponsor has a campaign that needs, an extra show or whatever, I'll do it. They've been super easy to work with. It's been so far so good. The interesting thing is that big project is over in about 35 days. And we'll see what happens this summer. There's a really good chance, because I don't have teaching. I mean, I'll have iHeart. I'll have a lot of free time. So it's either screw around and goof around a lot, or start publishing those shows weekly again. So
I'd vote for A. I'd vote for A. Goof around and hang around.
Yes.
I mean, you deserve it, Seth.
I kind of think so.
I'm curious because we get into a lot of the broadcast things with you and the regional sports networks, but at the same time, you're probably more in tune with the younger sports fan than anyone that I talk to because of your teaching. And you teach podcast class and you teach things on not necessarily broadcast classes, but in and around that line of work. Do they even care? Because you and I talk, David will always say, and he was doing it, for hey, remember it's on TBS. And I've gotten to the point where you are. I don't care what network it's on.
It doesn't matter which
it's on the bottom of my screen and I just click it. So does the young sports fan care about the regional sports networks? Do they, if you're a diehard fan of a team, which, we're a little bit different. I know we all have our teams, but we're sports fans first at this point in our lives. We want to see the great game. Does the young fan, particularly one who's a fan of a team, is he bothered by any of this that's going on?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Yesterday, for the history of sports broadcasting class, we had a guest speaker from Yankee Stadium, Dave Sims. I would say maybe 20% knew who he was.
Right. Longtime radio voice of the Mariners and is now the radio voice of the New York Yankees.
But the radio voice of the New York Yankees. So
Right.
like I would say in the past we've had Noah Eagle, like they get him. You know what I mean? He's a superstar to them. Last semester we had our boy Donald LaGreca as the guest speaker. But this year, because Noah couldn't do it because he's got playoff stuff to get ready, NBA stuff that he's doing. And he apologized and he was cool to do it. And Dave Sims, I love the guy. I mean, he's been instrumental in my career. He's probably the most responsible person to get me from Seattle to New York and the job at the MLB. So Dave Sims, and they were very polite. They were engaging. It was a good segment. But going into it, the reaction, the blank stares for Dave Sims. That's wild. It just, first of all, only a handful of them still watch baseball, and then another handful of them will watch it on TV. Nobody knows the radio broadcast. Like nobody even considers the radio broadcast.
Yeah, well, and Dave's, I think, around 70. And also, and obviously he's had a long career, and he's had a long career in the New York area, but most of that career was in the 80s and 90s. Voice of Big East basketball, doing a lot of Rutgers stuff before he went out west. Well,
he did Monday Night Football for Westwood One for years.
Right. Those kids weren't born.
Yeah. Yeah, last night I went to the Devils game, and one of my students was there, and she was with her dad. And I met the dad. Dad is, first of all, younger than me, and second of all, he was so into the class, because she likes the class, and she talks about all the fun historical things that we cover in the class. And he was asking me all these questions about the class, and it was really fun. I almost like, can I be his friend? I liked him.
But it's a great, Seth, welcome to my world. I've got a 12-year-old. I go to these soccer games with my daughter, and they think I'm the grandfather, not the father. Yeah. So I understand it completely. But, with Dave Sims, and I just saw a story, and the longtime radio voice of the Maple Leafs is retiring after this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And part of the reason is that the Maple Leafs, this is the Yankees of, well, not by winning, but from a popularity standpoint, it is certainly the most popular team.
The Red Sox. Canada. You could say they're the Red Sox,
or the Cubs, actually.
Or the Cubs. Yeah, that's a pretty good parallel.
But they're more popular than the Canadians. They haven't won as much, but in the country, they're a more popular team. Their longtime radio voice is retiring after this year, and part of the reason, not the sole reason, one, he's been doing it a long time, but he's calling road games off of monitors. Yeah. Are we even going to have radio and whether they're online, but you know what I mean? I should say audio only broadcasts. Are they going away anytime soon, Seth? They're talking about taking radios out of cars. So are we going to have audio only broadcasts 5-10 years from now?
Well, the Islanders got rid of theirs, and that's a New York market team. It's funny when I'm in my car, if there's a game going on, I put the app on my phone and I'll listen to the audio. So for example, if I was in the car yesterday, driving home from Montclair, and Arsenal's playing, it's the first half, and I put Paramount Plus on my phone and I'm listening to the game as I'm going on. I never once considered the radio. If the Devils are playing, I'm checking out the MSG broadcast, not Matt Laughlin and Chico Resch. Like, I'm not looking at the radio broadcast. So if you multiply that by a certain percentage, how many people are still listening to this? Now, I think the spoken word has never been more popular. Audiobooks numbers are skyrocketing. Podcast listening has been very high. So this idea that people still listen to things in their car, but live play-by-play, if you are driving around on a Sunday and there's a football game you want to watch, you have access to it on your phone. You're going to listen to Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
And
You're not going to Westwood One.
I'm the old guy. I still listen to the radio, bro. I mean, it's one of the reasons I still subscribe to Sirius, because I want to listen to that. It's a different call. It's a better call.
So the best story about this is, do you know the two longtime Seattle hosts, Graz with Gas, Dave Grosby, Mike Gastineau, these two Hall of Fame, they did Afternoon Drive for decades in Seattle, and they do a podcast now. So I was listening to a podcast, and it was that Thursday night game the Seahawks played the Rams, and Mike Gastineau lost his power. And he's telling this long tale about trying to get the game through a phone, trying to get a cell service, trying to do a hotspot, trying to figure out how to watch a glimmer of Seahawks Rams, that Thursday night game that's on Amazon Prime. And the other host, Dave, goes, "Hey, man, did you ever consider going in your car and turning on the radio?"
Wow.
These guys are Hall of Famers. They are radio Hall of Famers. Their whole careers, radio. And they didn't even think about it. So it's not just young people. It's crazy how people have changed their consumption. It's wild.
And yet at the same time, radio numbers in many areas are big.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people are into the spoken word. They may be getting it in different ways, but many of them still get it via radio.
Well, they get it through a listening device.
Right.
They're not getting it through AM, FM. You know, the AM, FM numbers are down. Now, the AM, FM is still the primary listening in cars. It still is in the country, in the country, but that number is dwindling. There's a study, Edison Research does a study. It's called the Infinite Dial, and every year they come out with these numbers, and it has to do with podcast listening and smart speakers and things like that. It's like a 50-slide PowerPoint that they do every year, and SiriusXM pays for it. A couple of other, I think Odyssey pays for it too. And it comes out, and I use it in my classes, in the podcast class, and it shows where, for example, podcast versus YouTube. You know, how many people are watching YouTube versus podcast. These numbers are fascinating, and how people consume media is fascinating. The spoken word has never been stronger. The radio, as per se, the AM, FM radio is dwindling. Now, it's not going to die in our lifetime. It's not going to die in your guys' lifetime or my lifetime, but it might die in, you know, my kids' timeline. Like they're talking about getting rid of AM possibly, and I think that's coming. You know, whether it happens now or 5 years from now, and I think that eventually, digital streaming will replace AM, FM.
And just with play-by-play, I do wonder how much longer, when you're making to make a radio guy call a game off a monitor is taking away the whole point of doing it.
Well, they do it all the time. I mean, look at half the Olympics. Half the Olympics were from Stanford.
But that's on TV. At least you can see it, Seth. There's a hell of a difference when you're doing a radio broadcast and you can't see the whole game. I can get away with it for a television broadcast. I don't like it, but I can see how you can get away with it. Radio, it's unimaginable to me.
Do you think they ever figure that out if COVID doesn't happen?
No.
Under 30 seconds. Which one you doing this week? Sports with Friends or Hall of Justice?
Oh, Hall of Justice, an iconic actor, Clancy Brown. Anybody who knows the superhero genre will know some of his work. He was in The Penguin. He was Lex Luthor in the classic Superman animated series. He's been in a million things. I think Shawshank Redemption. The guy's been in literally everything. Clancy Brown. Google him. You'll say, "Oh, I know that guy." Fantastic anchor. And the podcast comes out tomorrow.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Hall of Justice drops tomorrow. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, thanks. That was engaging. That was fun.
Don't act so surprised.
Well,
sometimes it's not.
2 out of 3.
He was the guard on Shawshank. There you go, Seth. Way
There
to
you
go.
Clancy Brown.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, it does. It does. That's the members only jacket. I know exactly what you're talking about. If that's what you're speaking of. It is ridiculous that Marlins games get blocked. I'm with you.
I'm having trouble with Lightning games in Jacksonville. I can get everything else.
Do you get blacked out?
I'm getting blacked out on Lightning games.
Okay. That seems really weird, the distance that you are.
I know. And yet I got, the Rays I've got Xfinity, I got a dedicated Rays channel, a dedicated Marlins channel.
That's a long distance. I mean, the fact that I can watch Lightning in Fort Myers and you can't in Jacksonville seems really odd to me.
I mean, you're an hour closer, but yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're way past the 100 miles or whatever it is.
Totally.
Do you really, Steel City? Okay. And thanks for listening from Daytona Beach. I did put a poll question up, David. Egg salad or pimento cheese? I know no one will answer it because, well, poll questions don't work right now. But
Right. So you don't want anything from Augusta unless you're there to buy it.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, Steel City, isn't it maddening? I get Orlando Magic games.
And
No
I don't
pro-
get Orlando Magic games when I had cable in Fort Myers.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Amanda Christovich will join us at the top of the hour. For those of you not with us, we'll post it around lunch. Download the interview. She's a great guest, sports business. We're going to get into President Trump's executive order that goes into effect August 1st involving the future of college sports. Do you have a go-to mock draft person, somebody whose mock drafts you go, I think they're more accurate than anybody else?
I don't, and the only reason, David, is that you jumped on mock drafts probably 8-10 years before I would even be interested in them. I was I literally was anti mock draft for the longest time. I wasn't as into the first probably 6-8 years we did the show, I wasn't nearly as into the draft as other people were. I liked the draft when it was on Saturdays. Going back to, I'll never forget, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived with two guys, great friends, and we had a couple of girls that we were really good friends with. The one had she went to Florida State and dated a football player at Florida State, so she knew a bunch of the players. And I'll never forget, they were so excited. They invited us to their place for the NFL draft one year because they were up and we were drinking and I'm in my mid-20s, maybe not even 25 yet. And we're partying at 9 a.m. for the NFL draft. I'm like, these are the coolest girls that have ever lived. So I've always enjoyed the draft, but I never did mocks. I just kind of, like I watch sports, I just let it come to me. Now I pay a lot more attention to who's going where because I've never paid this much attention to the NFL in my life. So no, I look at a lot of them. I probably go to The Athletic more than anywhere else. I just think they do a really good job with their draft coverage. So that's where I end up more times than not.
The guy whose mock drafts I've always liked more than anybody else is Peter Schrager. Because Peter Schrager's an information guy. Yeah, he was a part of that Good Morning Football, and they had to do things to entertain you, much like Miller and Moulton. You're doing a 3-4 hour morning show. It can't all be nuts and bolts. Okay, but Schrager was an information guy. The other thing, Mark, like, Pat Kerwin and his new co-host Jacob Hester, they're doing 1 or 2 mock drafts a week. Why? Well, they're doing it for entertainment purposes only. Schrager does it to kind of let you know what I'm hearing. And he only does 2. He does 1 2+ weeks out, and then he does one about 48 hours before the draft. For what it's worth, like last year, Schrager had the Giants taking Abdul Carter, trading back into the first round to get Jackson Dart. He was 1 spot off where the Giants traded back in to get Dart. Okay, I trust him. You've all looked at your mock drafts from whoever it is that you like. Here's my mock draft. Okay, fine. Schrager released his first mock draft yesterday. Obviously, Mendoza to the Raiders. Most everybody has Arvell Reese to the Jets, right?
Right.
He's got David Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting, because it's funny, David, like even the draft I trust, they have it the other way, but they speak more highly of Bell than they do Reese. So it somewhat makes sense to me.
Jeremiah Love to the Titans at 4. Giants go Mayoga, the tackle from Miami. Sonny Styles goes to the Commanders at 7. Reuben Bain goes to the Saints at 8. The Dolphins at 11 get Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. Caleb Downs to 12 to the Cowboys. They'd be doing the happy dance.
They would be jumping up and down. I mean, people think very highly of that young man.
Mekhi Lemon to the Rams at 13, wide receiver, USC. This makes sense for a couple reasons. First off, Nakua's in rehab. And secondly, the other wide receiver has 1 year left on his contract, and he's 31 years old. Sadiq goes to the Ravens at 14. Pat Kerwin's been pounding the table for 2 weeks going, I don't think the Ravens will pass on him. Lamar loves his tight ends. Jermod McCoy, corner, Tennessee, to the Bucks at 15. All right. Who else you interested in? Thieneman.
Does Simpson go in the first round in his draft? That's what I'm interested in.
No.
That's Simpson, the one I want to know.
Ty Simpson does not go in the first round. Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, is who the Dolphins take with their second first-round pick at 30. Schrager and a couple of others think that Jadarian Price, the other Notre Dame running back, finishes the first round with Seattle.
Where does the other edge from the Canes
Walker go? The other edge for the Canes, Akeem Messidor, to the Cowboys at 20.
I mean, boy, oh boy, David, if that's what the Cowboys get in this draft, I mean, look at I think I probably like to make fun of the Cowboys more than just about anybody else on the planet, because I have 2 friends that are Cowboys fans and I take pride in it. But if they were to get those 2 players in the draft, it'd be pretty damn good in the first round, David.
Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. They'd go Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, at 9, and then they'd go Colton Hood, cornerback, Tennessee, at 29. Schrager said the guy that he has the most wide-ranging opinions about is Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. That when he released his mock draft, one general manager texted him and said, I don't think he goes in the top 20. Okay. Another general manager texted him and said, you think he falls to 9?
Right. Because I've even seen, Pittsburgh in drafts taking him. So they're
at 21.
21.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
so the Dolphins would come away with Carnell Tate and Dylan Thieneman. All right, the Cowboys would come away with Caleb Downs and Akeem Messidor. The Browns at 6-24 would come away with the big tackle from Utah, Spencer Fano, and then wide receiver A&M Casey Concepcion. I'll say this.
So
the Browns,
is Fano the first tackle taken in his draft then?
no, Myoga from the Canes goes to the Giants at 5.
Right before him. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, because that was a guy yesterday that Pat said he could see the Utah tackle slipping, for what it's worth.
Well, in Schrager's draft, only 2 tackles go in the top 18. There's a bunch of edge, but only 2 offensive tackles in the top 18.
Well, for me and Paula then, because I've seen the Alabama tackle linked to the Lions, who do the Lions get at 17?
The Lions took the guard from Penn State. Okay.
And
I
I've
can't
seen him
pronounce his
earlier in a
name.
lot of mocks.
So that's Peter Schrager. I trust Peter Schrager's mocks. I think he aligns more picks with more teams than most anybody else's mock draft consistently. And Schrager is talking to the people making the decisions. He's not just a media guy trying to get clicks and says, hey, here's my mock draft. So take it for what it's worth.
Maybe we'll do a mock draft this year. Look at, he laughs right at me. Laughs right at me.
Just chuckling. That's all. I mean, once you get past about 12, nobody knows who you're talking about.
Miller and Moulton taken down a notch again. The mock draft apparently will not happen on this show, but we do have a poll question: egg
I'll do it.
salad or pimento cheese? Let's
Now
get to
we're
what we
talking.
know. That's
Right.
food.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I can honestly say that I hate egg salad, but I can also say I probably haven't had an egg salad sandwich in at least 45 years. My dad loved egg salad. So my mom every once in a while would make egg salad. And if there's something that could stink up a locker slash lunchbox slash, brown bag more than egg salad, I don't know what, I mean, egg salad's worse than the smell of tuna fish. And I happen to like tuna fish, but come on. You're a kid, egg salad. Oh, yeah, I'm with you, EB, but your tastes change. I mean, come on now. We don't all like the same things that we did as children. There are many things that we either like that we don't anymore. Like I loved McDonald's. You couldn't pay me to eat that crap now. So, I mean, our tastes do change, EB. I mean, you got to admit that.
Jatharian, for what it's worth, he has the Bengals taking Delaney, the corner from LSU.
Ooh, be a good pick.
First corner taken. Curious Doll fan, Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs. Can't go wrong. Who do you take? Mark, we'd have quite a Friday show because the Bucks go corner McCoy from Tennessee and pass on Messidor because he falls to 20. So they would pass on the edge and take a corner.
Does the edge from Auburn and his go in the first round?
No.
Really? Interesting.
Bunch of offensive tackles taken in the back half of the first round is what he has. Fleming from Georgia. Okay, Miller from Clemson. Proctor from Alabama. Just about everybody's got Proctor going like 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, this guy's got him 27 for San Francisco, the one I'm looking at. But again,
And-
this is about a week old too. So
And Schrager's got Lomu, the tackle from Utah, going to the Niners. Then the kid from Arizona State goes to the Texans at 28.
because I had seen Proctor a lot linked with the Lions, but I don't see him as much linked there anymore now.
Tell you what, though, it'd be very interesting think about this if you're the Dolphins. Let's just say this draft happens. They take Tate, the wide receiver, at 11, passing on Caleb Downs, but then they come back at 30 and get Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, who Raj watched for 3 years, star at Purdue.
Great. He's a legacy guy there. He's great.
Yeah, terrific player.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Amanda Christovich joins us at the top of the hour to talk about the president's executive order late last week that will go into effect in August. That will change the college sports landscape once again. We'll talk to Amanda about what was in it and how it's going to change things. Now, it hasn't been challenged in court yet because we're only, at the beginning of the third business day since the executive order was announced. But give it time. Give it time. Just a couple tidbits just from that mock draft talk. What are they talking? 5 Ohio State guys, possibly 6, but most everybody goes definitely 5 in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 3 in the top 10. I mean, as far as ranking the guys, Tate could go a lot of different places, but obviously you got Styles and Downs. No, I'm sorry. You've got 4 in the top 10. You've got Reese, Styles, Downs, and Tate that are all at least rated, you want to go top 15, sure. But wow.
Right. For what it's worth, Peter Schrager has them all going in the top 12.
Right.
Right. Because Tate and Downs fell to 11 and 12. What I find interesting here, I mean, when's the next Indiana player that's drafted after Mendoza? I mean, this isn't a team that just qualified for the playoffs now. Okay. I mean, how many mock drafts I've seen one of the wide receivers go really late in the first round in some mock drafts, but I mean, we start rattling off the teams that have these multiple first round picks once again. And, we got a bunch of Miami guys. We got all the Ohio State guys. Hell, Alabama's going to get like 3. And that doesn't even include if the quarterback gets taken. Both Notre Dame running backs could go.
Yeah, I mean, they're rated 1 and 2 as far as running backs go.
Yeah.
I mean, Love is clearly the best one, but the other running back's the number 2. And it's funny, Pat Kerwin, for instance, out of the 2 receivers for Indiana, Cooper's the higher rated receiver, but it's the other guy, Surratt, that Pat likes better.
Well,
Surratt, you do too.
Surratt's a mini Mike Evans. Okay. Not, an inch and a half shorter. Okay. And I don't think he had now the step that Evans had the first half of his career. I think he's a poor man's Mike Evans. But could you live with a poor man's Mike Evans as your number 2 wideout for the next 7-8 years? Now, I don't know where you take that guy. I mean, Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. It's why he went in the top half of the first round. Surratt's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's probably going to be a good, solid. He'll start out as a number 3 and then become a number 2 receiver for you for 7-8 years. Where do you draft that guy? Looks like Friday.
Looks like it. By the way, the D tackle from Florida, Banks, did he make the first? I mean, because I've seen him in the first round. I've seen him slip to the second. And a lot of people think that if he slips to the second, you're getting incredible value on this young man.
Well, also, wasn't there the center from Florida?
Yes.
And Schrager doesn't have either Gator in the first round.
Okay.
No, it's just one guy's mock draft 2 weeks out, but the mock draft has a little more info behind it than a lot of people's mock draft because he is an NFL insider. And he has a really good last 5-7 years proven track record where you look at he only submits 2 mock drafts a year, 1 2+ weeks out, and then 1 right before the draft. And you look at it, and when the first round is over, you go, wow, he was sniffing around quite a few things here. Huh.
And it's the Bucs are going with McCoy in his draft, the corner out of Tennessee. Is that what you said?
Right.
Who, by all accounts, would have been, he and Delane both, because Delane has a few injury problems. McCoy's had, missed all of last year. There are those that argue they would have gone even higher without the injuries. If you're a Bucs fan, I'm just curious. To those of you that are, I know there's a lot of you out there. How worried are you if you take a corner who missed all of last year with an ACL? Does that worry you? Or is it just, hey, ACLs are something we can recover from, he'll be fine?
Yeah, just, all right, tell me the medical. Because Cooper DeJean fell to the second round and the Eagles got a steal. Everybody said he would have been top 15, at worst top 20 pick in the draft, but Cooper DeJean fell, and obviously look how good he is. and how versatile he is. I do have to amend one thing, Mark. The bottom left corner of this, I didn't pay attention to. He's got Cooper, the receiver from Indiana, going to the Jets at 16.
Oh,
So
okay.
So he does have another Indiana guy in the first round, and he has Cooper going 16 to the Jets.
But the center there, the kid from Florida, not going in the first round, Jake Slaughter, who's the number 1 ranked center. That's someone that's going to be a very high value. That he's not going to last long in the second round if he doesn't go in the first, David.
Agreed, which would bode well for the Raiders and the Jets and the Cardinals and, teams like that. Listen, if I'm a Browns fan, not to get too nitty gritty here, but I mean, Mark, we say this sometimes, a team should just take their first 3-4 picks and go a certain side of the ball. If the Browns take somebody who doesn't play offense before Saturday, I'd be enraged if I'm a Browns fan. Enraged. I don't care how good a player he is. I mean, their offense is horrendous. Horrendous. And Njoku's gone. Their best wide receiver's what, 32?
Right.
Okay.
And that's 4 picks in the first 70, David. I mean, that's the other. You've got the 2 first-round picks. You're obviously picking high. They're picking 39 and they're picking 70. That's
Boom,
4
boom.
picks in the first 70. They don't have an offensive line to speak of. They don't have a skilled player that's worth a damn.
Right.
So I'm with you, David.
I mean, boom, 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 boom. Don't you just best offensive player on the board? That's who we're taking at all 4 picks. Go. Okay, I'll let you guys who like a couple defensive players bring some subs on Saturday. I'll listen to what you have to say.
All right, just hear me out because you love a good trade. Would you call the Rams at 13 if you were the Browns? And I don't know what else besides 24 you have to give up because you're going to have to give up something. But I don't know. Next year's second, if you need to get a bunch of guys this year, this year's third. Could you go from 24 to 13 to get the tight end ahead of Baltimore? Would you do it? Because again, there's not a lot of receivers here in this draft that we think that highly of. The tight end is supposed to be special. He can block. He's a real problem to match up with. And you're stealing him probably from a division opponent.
Wow. You got a little thing going for Sadiq. Come on, admit it.
I think he's special.
I know.
The stuff that I'm reading, the people that I trust, you didn't think he could block, David. You didn't think, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to misquote you. You didn't think he was a good blocker or a great blocker.
He is not fully committed to blocking. If he commits to it, he can be very good at it because he's very strong. He's 260 pounds and he's, body fat's 3% or less. Okay, physically, he's a freak. Physically, Mark, all right? I was around college football weekly for 20 years. Physically, probably the best tight end I ever saw in college. I mean, not as productive because Oregon just didn't throw it to him as much as other teams would have. And you think about the great tight end, Gronk was a freak. O.J. Howard was a freak. Okay, I mean, we've had some freak tight ends. Sadiq is an absolute freak. Like borderline uncoverable.
Thank you. And all I'm saying is, Cleveland needs weapons. This could, David, I could argue he's the best offensive. If Love's not the best offensive weapon, he's the next best offensive weapon in this draft.
Okay. I'll go the other way with you. If you're Cleveland, do you trade out of 6? Trade down. Okay. Whoever it is. Somebody wants somebody. Dallas wants to trade up from 12.
I don't think Love would still be there at 6, and I think Dallas is going defense, but that makes sense, David.
And do you think I can get Sadiq at 12? And then I'll add another top 70 pick and draft another offensive guy. That's probably what I'd be inclined to do. I'm too bad a franchise to give up valuable picks to move up from 24 to 13.
For what it's worth, Dallas doesn't have a 2. That's a long jump to get a third rounder. Just, using Dallas as your example.
Well, but Mark, I can get a third rounder this year and maybe a third rounder next year or even a second rounder next year. You want to move up from 12 to 6? Oh, no. You got to bring a little juice to the table.
Okay, so here we go. See, he doesn't want to have a mock draft, and we're making trades, and I'm actually fully engaged in the trade. If you've been listening to this show for a while, the fact that I'm fully engaged in draft trades is a new development here.
Mark, come on. Okay, did you really think that I was a 100% no on the mock draft? Tell me when you heard the no, you didn't think, this is the guy who's dieting. I just started the shape up. Oh, no. No. I don't want the extra slice of pizza. No. I don't want the dessert. No. I really got to get up and work out. Okay. Tell me you didn't think I was that guy. And you're like, man, if I just keep knocking on that door, it's over.
No, you know what I thought, David? Believe it or not, since you used the workout reference, which in and of itself is hilarious for this show.
Right.
What I thought is you're actually the guy that works out all the time. And I called you and said, do you want to, I'll get up with you every day and start working out, because you kind of laughed at me. You said, I can do the mock draft by myself. I don't need you. I'll make trades by myself. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to tell me you're going to set the alarm, and I'm going to be there at the gym at 6:45 in the morning, and you're not going to show again. That's how I took it. And that could be a me problem, but that's you mocked me for the mock draft.
Well, I think you're doing a little projecting there. I think we might have to talk about this off air. Something's going on. Okay. But in all seriousness, you do know me very well. I mean, I'm going to sit in a room by myself and do my own mock draft in my head, whether we do it on the air, whether we do it online, you know me too well. Of course, I'm going to do a mock draft. I'm going to do a mock draft in my head every day till we have the draft in 15 days.
And David, what do I have right now more than I've ever had before? In the history of the Miller and Moulton show, what do I have now that I've never had more of before?
Time.
No kids to pick up, no practices to drive to, no practices to pick up from, no golf twice a week. I'm just here. I'm in a damn room watching reruns of Sopranos twice a day. Love the Fort Myers shout out, by the way, early in season 6. Come on. Who doesn't think that there's someone in the witness protection program living in Cape Coral? Come on. Really?
Oh, heck.
I mean, 21,000 is the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Tampa, Jacksonville, Southwest Florida, Lake City, Port Charlotte. What cities do you think we've got former mobsters living in that are in the witness protection program?
It's a good thing she's not listening. So we live in a development that has a lake. Okay. Obviously, we're on one side of it, and there's housing on the other side. And my wife, who I got her a pair of binoculars because she asked for them 3 years ago, my wife will stand on the lanai 3 stories up and look out, and then she will just peek her head inside the sliding glass door and say, I think those people are in the cartel. And I go, really? You can tell that just from the binoculars on our lanai on the 3rd floor, huh? Cartel. She goes, yeah, cartel. I go, okay.
That is beyond creepy.
Yeah,
I think what you should do is, and you can't do it right now. There's too much going on in your world, and I'm aware of it. But give it 2 months. In fact, wait till next fall, because you have probably more year-rounders there than we do in like Southwest Florida or even here in Tampa. But give it a few months, maybe like September. Hide the binoculars on her for a week.
Yeah, I told her, you're watching way too many Datelines. Okay, put the binoculars down. Amanda Christovich, college sports next.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I've been waiting, and it finally came out. The guy that does that, he calls it the Beast in The Athletic, where he does the breakdown of everybody. I mean, he goes like top 300 players. It's as detailed of a list as there is. He just put it out this morning. I'll be at the printer today. I will be using a lot of Hope Lodge's paper today.
Okay.
Yes, Yinzer. I thought it was, and I loved David's show. I listened every day, and I know David probably listened to me coming in. It was unlistenable. It was worse than current NBA regular season. And yes, David, if you're not paying attention to the chat room, I'm talking about your caller.
Oh, yeah. This is a true story. And I know Mark's told it a couple times. No. You said you hated it, that it was the worst thing you'd ever heard. Okay, so in the 37-second negotiation that Miller and Moulton had to join forces, in fact, I think the door was even propped open in the front lobby. I don't even know, were we fully outside? But anyway, do you want to do a show? Yeah. What do we name it? I think it should be Miller and Moulton. It sounds better. And Mark goes, well, I agree. And then, what is it you want? And Mark said, well, there's one thing that's a deal breaker. And I go, okay. He goes, yeah, the draft, the listener draft, gotta go. I won't do it. Literally, I won't do it. I won't be there that day. It's got to go. I start laughing. He goes, no. It's the worst thing I've ever heard. And you
Was
got to
it-
remember, okay, Miller and Moulton have been listening to Miller and Moulton at that point for over a half a dozen years. Mark on radio, I'm on TV. I mean, we've both done some bad programming.
Right.
Mark's doing coaches shows, for goodness sakes, with 6 people in attendance. Okay, I mean, we've both been a part of some and I looked at him and he goes, no, worst thing I ever heard. And I'm literally going, come on now. I've listened to an hour of you from Stevie's doing the Everblades coaches show with nobody there. Come on now.
By the way, we did get a vote for Ave Maria, where the mobsters are hiding out. God, that's funny. I mean, that is so
hysterical.
spectacular.
I'll bet one's on the board. Sure.
In fact, I'm typing.
I got to say, Mark, I've been thinking about the Cape since I've moved here.
Well, it's funny. Someone said they never left Bonita Springs, and it is a fact. I mean, this is factual. Capone used to vacation in Bonita, and I'm convinced because
Amanda.
I'm convinced because I knew the family.
I'm on it.
And one of them said a comment that alligators eat the bones to me a long time ago. I'm convinced Old Man Piper allowed Chicago mobsters to feed bodies to the Gators. Like, I would bet everything I have on it.
Well, the corrupt mayor of Linden, used to live in Marco Island.
Okay.
Used to run Linden from Marco Island after he was out of office.
Well, I know there's a Saginaw guy that's connected that doesn't live too far from where I am right now. My mom's known the family since she was in middle school, I believe. Maybe early.
I have
You're
Amanda.
listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete. We are thrilled to welcome back Amanda Christovich on the show. She covers the business of sports and college sports in particular for Front Office Sports, frontofficesports.com. Follow Amanda on X at @Christovich and throw an extra H on the end. Christovich with an extra H. Amanda, David, and Mark, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just got back from the national championship, so I can't complain. Kind of my favorite assignment. How are you
All
doing?
right. Well, tell us about just give us, let's get away from the business of sports for just a second. Talk to us about the Final Four, your experience, who you rubbed elbows with, and some of the information you may have got, because I was reading your stuff. It looked like you had a pretty damn good time.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, look, obviously the actual matchups on Saturday night, the Final Four, Michigan totally blew out Arizona. I know everyone was hoping for a better game, but I thought the national championship game was, incredible, very much a nail biter. I spent there were so many storylines. I feel like I spent the entire weekend, like, every single story was like somebody is about to make history, whether it be maybe UConn with their dynasty or Michigan with the Big Ten three-peat. They have men's basketball, women's basketball, and football championship all in 1 year, which is super historic. So that was great. Obviously, Trump's executive order, which I'm sure we'll talk about, happened on Friday. So we were all there. Where was I? We were all in Indianapolis. I'm like, I don't even remember what city I was in. We were all in Indianapolis when that happened. So that was really exciting and interesting to just like be in the same hotel with commissioners dodging me while I wanted to ask them about the executive order. That was fun. But it was an unbelievable weekend. Final Four, like I said, is like my favorite assignment, because the entire industry is there. It's not just, the National Association of Basketball Coaches is their meeting there. They had a GM day, which is a sign of the changing times for the first time. I moderated a panel for that event, which was super cool to talk about the relationship between agents and GMs, which, as we know, can be fraught these days for many reasons. And it was a whirlwind, but
Well,
it was a great time.
And what's interesting is there's a couple coaches associations which wants that relationship almost severed. But let's get to the executive order. It's supposed to go into effect August 1st, right? What changes? Let's just say it does go into effect. What are the highlights that we better wrap our head around?
Well, what's interesting about the executive order is that if you actually look at how it's written, it says that all the rules that everyone's probably seen and read about, the way that they're written is the office of the president directs the NCAA to set this new rule or that new rule. So it's basically saying the NCAA should set the rules that the executive order stipulates. So like that going back to the one-time transfer, that is a rule that the executive order isn't saying is the law of the land because they can't. They're just saying this is the rule that the NCAA should implement. And it's the same thing with eligibility. Now, there was a report literally that published this morning about the idea that the NCAA is considering changing their eligibility rules to something that is actually similar to what was in the executive order, which is 5 years to, a 5-year cap to complete sports. A while ago, there were rumors that they were considering that. Then they came out and said they weren't. So maybe now they are. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is the NCAA could implement this executive order now, but it's not really going to change anything because they're just going to continue to get sued for the same things they were getting sued for before. The executive order isn't going to change that. When Charlie Baker visited us in Indianapolis and we were kind of asking about the enforceability and about what exactly they're planning to do, if they're planning to change their rules, if they feel like they can, we didn't really get a straight answer because I don't think anybody has that answer. The NCAA could change their rules back to the one-time transfer rule without an executive order. I think the result would be the same, though, that the lawsuits would keep coming.
There are so many people that tell us that they don't like college sports the way that it is right now. We hear it from our listeners all the time, Amanda, but the fact of the matter is the numbers on television have never been higher. So they may not like it, but they're still watching.
Yeah.
The one thing I've always argued with them about is the fact that, these scholarships, these deals are 1-year deals. Has there ever been any talk of giving the player, the athlete, multi-year deals that, we've always wanted them to be employees because then they can collectively bargain. But is there any consolations? Because this seemed that was all pretty one-sided on the executive order. Is there anything for the athlete in it that makes their life better?
Well, there were general stipulations for restrictions, or not restrictions, but basically saying that the NCAA has to provide medical care, for example, which, to their credit, they actually have expanded their medical care offerings, especially for athletes after they graduate, significantly in the past few years under Charlie Baker. There was also this stipulation about how revenue sharing shouldn't adversely impact women's and Olympic sports funding, but there wasn't really a clear explanation of how that would be done. So I guess those would be the athlete benefits. I think, the one thing the executive order didn't say was, antitrust exemption. So that's a potential positive for athletes because if the NCAA gets an antitrust exemption that is anything beyond limited to transfer and eligibility rules, or any governing body to college sports, then that gives a unilateral opportunity without collective bargaining for the institutions to, and the institution being the NCAA or the conferences or whoever, to set limitations. It was more about restrictions than it was about athlete benefits. I would agree with you there. And I would also agree that, like, collective bargaining, maybe it is the answer, maybe it isn't, but it's been so striking and candidly frustrating that the NCAA as an organization and the power conferences, at least publicly, have no interest in even exploring that option. Because relying on, an executive order is not going to fix things. It's not going to really change anything come August 1st. So what would really be needed to change something is Congress. Congress is not going to pass a law between now and July 1st. This is not going to happen, in my opinion. And so the other option is collective bargaining, but they just won't even consider it. And I think that that is a failure for everybody involved, the players, the coaches, the fans, everybody, because they're so scared of employee status that they're not even willing to consider the only option that every other multi-billion-dollar sports league has and has used, the legally set rules and restrictions.
Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, frontofficesports.com. Follow her on X, A Christovich, and throw an extra H on the end. A Christovich and another H. You wrote a piece in which you said that the players hadn't even shown up for their post-game presser on Monday, and the transfer portal was already open. I believe the number I saw yesterday is that more than 50% of the Division I men's scholarship basketball players are in the portal. Did you hear anything in Indianapolis about the portal and how it could be changed, if at all?
Yeah, look, there was a lot of talk about, whether the executive order, that one-time transfer rule, would actually be enforceable. I think we all agree the answer to that is no. But beyond just what I wrote in that article, which was that there was this, the buzz around the fact that the portal is going to open on midnight of the national championship. And so it ended up happening in the middle of the post-game celebration. There was a lot of talk, I think, on Monday night. Like, a lot of us were asking administrators who were at the national championship, like Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel, Tony Petitti was there, like asking them, like, okay, like Michigan won the national championship with a roster where every single player on the starting five was transfer at one point. Most of them were transfers incoming this season. I believe there was one who transferred in 2 years ago. So I'm saying, is this, you're celebrating this win from this program that is assembled through the transfer portal. Is this an endorsement of the transfer portal? Is this a good thing for college sports because your organization or Michigan, one of your conference's programs, has benefited so much? And of course, they all kind of said, like, well, there are no rules right now, and we do think there should be rules, but as long as there aren't any rules, we're gonna just keep doing what we're doing, is pretty much what I was told. There was one quote from a Michigan administrator who basically said, complaining about the system right now is like complaining about tax loopholes. Like, these are the rules. This is what it is. If you can find a way around it, like, why would your institution not use that loophole? Why would your institution not utilize that opportunity to benefit? So it was interesting because they were kind of all like, we do think that there should be more restrictions on the transfer portal, but so long as there are not, we're going to continue to benefit from the lack of those restrictions. Of course, if you're not a power conference program or potentially like a Big East program that's got a ton of, that has $8 to $10 million of NIL and rev share, it's going to be hard to benefit, right? Because the transfer portal clearly benefits the more well-resourced school. So that was kind of the weird dichotomy there.
Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, frontofficesports.com. Follow her on X, A Christovich, and another H on the end. A Christovich H. Amanda, hope we have more time next time. Safe travels. Thanks for all you do for us.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Amanda Christovich, kind enough to join Miller and Moulton once again on the American Paint Supplies Hotline. Mark, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
One of the sharpest people out there when it comes to this. She knows her stuff. She's well resourced, does a great job, and we're very happy to have her on the program. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when. What's on tap? 25 minutes away.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Might have to shave for the first time in about 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Well, I have this like mustache area growing back, and I'm fascinated because to me it appears to be darker than it was before. It's the only reason I haven't shaved, because is my hair color going to change? I'm hoping for the Bednar curls. I don't care if it goes gray. If I get the flow, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. If it grows back, because the dome, this hasn't even started yet. These little nubs are the same length they were when I got it shaved down. It's easy, though. Javier, I don't know if you're there right now, and I don't even know if you could buy from this guy, but there is a guy I found on Facebook, Cajun Corner, maybe it's something like that, but he works up and down each coast, one on Thursday, one on Friday, our coast on Friday, and sells crawfish. And don't know if you could do a crawfish boil there, but he sells it by the sack, and it's, I mean, you could probably get it cheaper somewhere else, but I'm not getting the sack because it's 30 pounds, and I'm not making a crawfish boil for all the cancer patients because, one, I don't know if they would like it, and two, I don't know if this place would allow me. But I am picking up 2 bags of crawfish tails from him on Friday and taking my first stab at etouffee Friday night. 30 pounds of crawfish per sack. And it's $5 a pound plus a $10 delivery charge. So I think you're talking like $160 for a sack of crawfish. And they're like, I've seen the pictures. They're pretty damn good size. Cajun Corner, if you are interested. It's on Facebook. I don't know where else he is, but he's out of Orlando, and he delivers them. I guess it's 165. See, I thought he moved it down to, oh, yeah, the West Coast is $5 a pound. But and I know the season's ending. I think the season seems to be much like stone crab. Fair enough. Okay. Good call. I have my mother's she brought it up and I made her, she was going to take it home and I almost yelled at her. I've got her roasting pan that I think she may have gotten as like a wedding gift when she married my father, which is 1968. I don't have any of my stuff up here, but I don't trust their pan. So I've got a fantastic old roasting pan that I'm doing it in. Yeah, one of my son's good friends' families from Louisiana, so they've done a few. They do more shrimp boils, but that's how he got into it. So he and I are making etouffee on Friday. I'm very excited. Never made it before.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts, a pick or two, all coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Listen, we encourage you. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. YouTube.com/Miller and Moulton. Check us out. You can see the show, but you can also participate in the chat room. And I will say, as somebody who doesn't cook, was never into cooking, the amount of cooking talk that can go on in the chat is very impressive, because obviously our audience is predominantly male, and I am very impressed at the pseudo chefs that we have here.
Well, there are pseudo chefs, and then there's an executive chef. I mean, there is one guy in there that does it for a living,
right?
And did it at one of the best restaurants in the world. So I lean on him hard for advice, and he's been great.
But I'm very impressed with, the food conversation, which is not just, hey, what's your favorite drive-through? I mean, you guys really get into some good food, how to prepare it, the whole deal. I mean, it's just, you get me so fired up. I do, right after the show, go to my favorite drive-through. But but the food talk is impressive.
I went yesterday through a drive-through to get a milkshake, not food, but I was laughing in the drive-through because I was teased. I looked at the Publix ad and I thought Ben & Jerry's was BOGO, and it was just the big ones, and they didn't have the flavor I wanted, and I had to get a couple other things. So I'm like, you know what? I can do without the ice cream. But then on the way back, I looked at my kid and I said, milkshake? And he's like, yeah, I'm in. So we went through a drive-through. And as I was in the drive-through, I'm just laughing, thinking of you going, because we were talking about the different fast foods and that my daughter doesn't like them, and he's not a big fan of the Golden Arches anymore. He goes, it's like a last choice. And I just thought of you going, no, I don't eat fast food because it's convenient. It's what I like. It's not the convenience part's great, but
yeah,
you've always said if you were on death row, your final meal would be a number 3 value meal from McDonald's with the double cheeseburger on the side.
At the very least, yes.
But
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, that's my meal. Number 2, by the way, quarter pounder with cheese is 2.
Sorry, it's a 2.
So,
it
right.
tells you how long it's been since I've been there, David.
Right.
I don't even
Oh,
know
I
if it was
know.
ever a 3.
I just, I'm not an authority on much. I'm pretty good with the salary cap, and I know what number is what at a lot of places.
And he can do a mock draft by himself. Whether
my
we
head.
do one together as a show
Right.
yet remains to be seen. But David's doing
Right.
one after the show while in line at the drive-through.
Mark, let's face it, there are things that you're much better at than me. And, I was thinking about my answer to you earlier when you suggested should we do a mock draft? And you said that I kind of mocked you in the way I said no. And maybe you were right. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm trying to come to grips with it. It's not like I've played the tape back
And you
listened
won't.
to it. Okay. But I'm playing it back in my mind.
Okay.
And you know how there are just certain things that, you to your dying breath, you're like, I was better at this than David. I think maybe it's possible, okay, if I was mocking, and by the way, does this sound like those terrible apologies in which they never apologize?
What,
Okay.
Gino?
Yeah. How many qualifiers have I thrown in already and I haven't even gotten to the point? Okay. But if it's possible that I may have mocked you, okay, about our mock draft, it's probably because if I show any arrogance at all, it's me thinking, well, nobody could do a mock draft better than what I do in my head. Okay, so why would I do one with anybody else?
You know what? I'm not saying you're
So
wrong. I mean,
once again, I'm not sure if that's what happened. I'm saying it's possible. Maybe I'll consider it.
and that's how it felt, that you just kind of laughed at me like, do you really think you can hang with
What?
me in a mock draft?
I do one.
It's like the
sitting on-
14 handicapper taking
No.
on the club champ and saying, no, I don't need any strokes.
I mean, I'm sitting here going, I do a mock draft in my head while watching a rerun of Law and Order. What does he want to do? What? Okay, yeah, sure, fine.
I did put a poll question up. One thing we do well on this show is food poll questions.
Right.
And even though I don't think X is working with the dam as far as the poll questions go, you can vote that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. The Masters starts tomorrow. The 2 most affordable sandwiches on the Masters board for $1.50 each are pimento cheese and egg salad. I'm a pimento cheese guy. David is an egg salad guy. In fact, he said he disliked pimento cheese. He had never had it till he was at the Masters, and he's like, it's not for me.
Yeah, and I had it. I bought it, took 2 bites, and was like, oh my goodness, I'll never eat this again. Got back in line and ordered 2 egg salad sandwiches.
So early on X, more pimento cheese votes than egg salad votes. But David, it is really unfortunate that I control the text line because you loved the text line. The texters, David, the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, they are in your corner, working for you now, because it has been one egg salad vote after another.
Here we go.
On the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line.
I'm liking it.
Egg salad. My dad loved it. And my mom would make it for him. And I know it was packed in a lunch, like, second grade, third grade, in the brown bag. And the smell of that egg salad is something I still remember at 56 years old, and I can't do it. I like eggs. I like mayonnaise. How do you not like egg salad, right? I mean, but I don't.
So when I'm in Jersey at my mom's doing the show, and obviously we have to do the show till 10 Eastern. And after the show, we go to the best bagel place we know. It's in Metuchen, which is a neighboring town, home of Robert Hedges, by the way. Welcome back, Cotter. Remember Robert Hedges? He went to Metuchen High School. Anyway, all right, we get our bagels. And I can get a pumpernickel bagel here. I love it. Mark, I have breakfast and lunch at the same time. I look at the guy, I go, 2 pumpernickel bagels. I want 1 loaded with butter. I want 1 loaded with egg salad. We sit down. I eat the one with butter first, and then I look at the clock and I go, oh, look at that, it's time for lunch. And then I eat the egg salad one.
I do love the ability of no, it does not matter what the poll question is. If we give you two choices and only two choices, the amount of you that then text me with another choice is baffling to me.
Right.
I have had several people who said, the Master's hack is half pimento cheese, half egg salad. I don't give a damn. It's A or B.
Right.
What did you do when you were in school on multiple choice tests? Did you really walk up to the instructor and say, well, it's B and C?
By the way, I advise you to, if you have grandkids, and I know testing isn't what it used to be anymore, but when they take those SATs or ACTs, do not try to add in, an extra choice. I mean, they frown upon it when you try to write in what you think should be the correct answer.
Yeah, I love you guys for it. It does not matter.
Right.
I mean, we literally can say, is it Joe Montana or Tom Brady? John Elway. It
Patrick
doesn't matter
Mahomes.
what the question
Right.
is.
Yeah, well, we may have started it though. I might be guilty. I was on this show many years ago.
You know what? I'm blaming the listeners for something that's your fault, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you asked me Blake Griffin or Kevin Love, and I did say Kevin Durant. So I may have started it.
The only problem with that is from where I'm sitting, you were right then and you're right now.
But it doesn't matter. Okay, that's what we're trying to say to the people texting us. It doesn't matter if you're right. These are our choices. Okay. Yes, these are our mediocre, poor choices. Just pick one, please. And only one.
Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when, and what's on tap? It's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And I'll tell you, PJ, I had another thing, and I had not checked since early this morning, but there was nothing on Pro Football Talk. I don't see anything on, ESPN. I didn't see anything on The Athletic. Oh, well, The Athletic did issue statements because she works for them that it's untrue, but I don't, I'll check right now their headlines. I didn't see anything. But I have to be brutally honest, I haven't checked as much because, nice mammoth Zamboni in Utah. I will go that far. Yeah, nothing in the headlines on The Athletic, which I'm not surprised by. Nothing in the Discover on the Athletic. I don't think they will. We talked about it right off the hop. And, David's point is it is a rumor. We have no idea if any of it's true. My point is some of the things that, they both said they had friends with them, and people who saw them at the hotel said, no, they didn't. So there's already some he said, she said going on. But to sit there and extend a rumor when you are talking about two married people, each with two kids, we're not going to do that much on it. I mean, I brought it up, I think right off the hop of the show. It shows you that it's a slow sports time. And, the point we both made is it's going to hurt her more than it's going to hurt him. And for those of you on Twitch, we're talking about Vrabel and Rossini there, because that was a question that came in on YouTube. So that's kind of where we are there, for what it's worth.
So has anybody listened to it? Was Mark right?
I know it's fair to say that I embellished, because there's a lot of that goes on between 6 and 10 out of me. But he did laugh. I may have taken way too much out of the laugh, which I think is fair to say.
Right. Like I hinted at, I'm wondering if there wasn't, if transference going on there, or was it legit? Okay. Mark, this is for you. I am going to do something today, and I have a lot going on today, but I promise I will, because there's only 3 games in the NHL tonight. I will have the standings tomorrow as to what they would be if we went with the 3-2-1-0 point structure as opposed to the one they have now. Because like the LA Kings might be the second wild card. They have 19 regulation wins.
Well, and if it was 1 through 8 too, the Wings would have a much better shot, because they can be better than, even though they're done and they're cooked. But you know what I'm getting at.
Yep.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. We're done. That's it. We're over the hump. Well, at least Miller and Moulton's over the hump. Some of you still have a day to get through. All right. We appreciate you being with us.
Okay, that's it. Time to go to work. Is that what you're telling me?
I told everybody we appreciate you being with us. I mean,
Fair enough.
Can't be.
I should have read that better. Get to work is what he's saying. So let's just play the tune.
It's your segment. Go.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Sometimes you've got something to say there. Sometimes I get it before you get started with your thing.
Right? No, that's true. Valid.
Just was letting you have a moment. 1935, we start today at the second Augusta National Invitation Tournament. Gene Sorensen wins a Monday playoff. They played 18. He won it by 5 shots.
So legend has it. So obviously he makes the double eagle on 15. Well, they didn't have scoreboards, and obviously the communication. And so this kid saw it, and he goes running back to the clubhouse, and he says, he made a 2 on 15. And they're all going, no, you made a 2 on 16. No, he made a 2 on 15. Okay, kid. All right. That's cute.
Sorensen, who spent his golden years in Marco Island, Florida.
Yes, he did.
1943, this is really just for me. The Red Wings beat Boston 2-0 for a 4-0 sweep of the Stanley Cup Championship. When they used to make the playoffs. Also today in 43, FDR, an attempt to check inflation, freezes wages, prices, prohibits workers from changing jobs unless the war effort would be aided thereby, and bars rate increases to common carriers and public utilities. You ever wonder why Al Davis thought a lot of Al Davis? This might have been the start of it. And it may have been long before this, but it was today in 66 that the AFL votes in Al Davis as commissioner at the age of 36. It would only last 3 months because then they would merge with the NFL. But if you wondered why Al had a problem with authority, it's because they made him the boss at 36 of the whole damn league.
Right.
Today in 68, Major League Baseball postpones opening day because of the assassination a few days earlier of Martin Luther King Jr. I gave this one for you, David, because we all know how good the Mets were on opening day, but not in 69. In the first game featuring a Canadian team, the Expos beat your Mets 11-10 at Shea. The Kansas City Royals, San Diego Padres, and Seattle Pilots also win their debut games.
Mark, I believe the Mets, whose first game was in 1962, still had not won on opening day. I think they win their first opening day game in 1970. I think they started 0-8 on opening day.
Today in 74, Hank Aaron. It's number 715. Who did he hit it off of, David?
Al Downing.
Correct.
Right. And Vin Scully did the game on radio. Kurt Gowdy, NBC, took a flyer that Hank might hit 715, and NBC aired the game on a Monday night. Kurt Gowdy with the call. It's the day I decided to be a sportscaster. My grandfather called my mom and said he needs to stay up and watch this. This is important. He homered his second time up, and I went to bed saying, I want to beat Kurt Gowdy.
Believe it or not, I have memories of this, and I don't know if it's seen it after, but I'm pretty sure, because my parents did not make me go to bed early. I'm pretty damn sure I watched it as well. I would have only been I wouldn't have been 5 yet. So 75, Yankees and Cleveland Indians, significant because Frank Robinson becomes the first African-American to manage a game. He was also a player manager. He homered in his first at-bat as Cleveland would beat the Yankees 5-3.
I got to admit, I miss the player manager. I just, is that dorky of me? Is that just showing? I don't, Pete Rose, I think, was the last player manager with the Reds. Joe Torre was a player manager with the Mets. Okay, I don't know. I missed the player manager for a couple of years.
And I mean, obviously, the greatest player manager of all time, Reg Dunlop. Today in 76, Leroy Selman, first pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Got it right.
79, the final episode of All in the Family on CBS. They would replace it with Archie Bunker's Place, which really wasn't very good. Today in 83, a lot of you watched this. I'm not sure why, but you did because we liked magicians back then. David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Right.
Hey, thank you. Clint Eastwood, elected mayor of Carmel, California, today in 86. Today in 89, Jim Abbott, born without a right hand, made his major league pitching debut.
Can I just stop you for a second? How do you run against Clint Eastwood? And this is, I mean, what year was it again? 86?
Yeah.
I mean, this is when he's Clint
This is
Eastwood.
Go Ahead, Make My Day. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you run against him? That seems to be a tough position to be in.
I think you're right. Today in 94, an electrician sent to install a burglar alarm went into a Seattle home and found the body of one Kurt Cobain. In 2000, we started a new catchphrase. More cowbell. The Don't Fear the Reaper skit aired on SNL with Christopher Walken.
That poor guy. He's an Oscar winner, for goodness sake.
Yes, he is.
Okay. And that's what people talk about.
And I think more of his speech, or whatever you want to call it, the scene that he does in Pulp Fiction, because it is just unbelievably weird. And he delivered. I couldn't imagine any other actor doing that part for that Tarantino movie. He does it so well. Tiger wins his second Masters today in 01, 2 strokes ahead of David Duval. 2018, Patrick Reed beats Ricky Fowler by 1 for the Masters. And Virginia finally gets theirs today in 2019, beating Texas Tech in overtime. Ponce de Leon, Sonia Henning, Betty Ford, John Havlicek, Catfish Hunter, Gary Carter, Ricky Bell, and you say he's just a friend, Biz Marquis would have all celebrated birthdays today. Jim Lampley is 76. Izzy Stradlin from Guns N' Roses, and also a great first solo album, is 64. Julian Lennon, 63. Patricia Arquette, 58. Felix Hernandez is 40. C.D. Lamb, 27. And so is Joe Adele, the guy who just made the catches for the Angels. Like he'd have never made this list had he not made 3 home run robbing catches just a couple of days ago. What did I miss, David?
Well, I don't know what you missed, but you brought up a couple things that got my mind spinning. When Tiger won his second Masters today, that completed the Tiger Slam in 01. That's when he had all 4 at the same time. So, and you said something else in it, but I've already forgotten it.
Well, that seems to be how this segment goes for me.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Oh, I know what it was. It was Jim Lampley's birthday. Okay. When you think of Jim Lampley, what do you think of?
Boxing.
His
HBO boxing.
His foreman call was amazing. But Jim Lampley, I believe, was the first ever network sideline reporter, college football, ABC, mid-70s. And then they had him do the halftime show. And I remember as a kid growing up in Jersey, he would tell me every home Auburn game what food they were serving in the press box. He just thought that was the best. And he would find out. And at halftime, he would let us know what they were serving in the Auburn press box. And I, as a kid in Jersey, I'm sitting there, half the stuff I couldn't get my hands on. I'm like, this is amazing.
We go to Hallandale Beach, Florida for the good, where Cookie the dog jumped in the intercoastal, and the owner jumped in to save the dog. Unfortunately for her, it was low tide and she couldn't get out of the water, so the fire department had to be called to help the duo out. Both dog and dog mom are doing well. For the bad, we go to California, where I really wish Adam was still listening because we might get more insight on this. You know, he sells toilet paper for a living. But a 6-alarm fire ripped through the Kimberly Clark Distribution Center in Ontario. It was a place full of toilet paper, and the fire broke out. They think it's arson. Looks like one of the employees is in big trouble. But from what I understand, unfortunately, no one was injured. And finally, the ugly. We come back to Florida in Sumter County, where a former school bus driver was arrested and charged with reckless driving and nearly 30 counts of child neglect after ignoring a train warning signal and driving across the tracks with the school bus as the train was coming. That is a no-no if you're a school bus driver. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 8th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Looking to change jobs and be a cop in Cape Coral? Well, they're paying a lot of money. They're offering a sign-in bonus, overtime opportunities aplenty. I say cop because where do you go? CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
NBA, the ESPN doubleheader, Atlanta at Cleveland, which would be a first-round playoff series right now. That's the 4-5 matchup in the East. And then Portland at San Antonio, a loss by the Spurs, and OKC clinches the number 1 overall seed. Magic home for the T-Wolves, trying to desperately get out of the play-in, and it doesn't look as if they have enough time to do that. Hey, Mark, let me ask you this. You think Ovechkin's retiring?
Yes. Well, I think he's retiring from the NHL.
I agree.
I think he's going to go back and play in Russia.
And I also think that if the NHL players are eligible in the next Olympiad, I actually think he'll be, in his early 40s, but I'll bet you he plays for Russia.
Wouldn't surprise me. Might be too old then. I mean, I don't know if he'd be good enough. They might put him on anyhow, but I'm with you.
I mention it because the Caps have 4 games left in the season. They're likely to miss the playoffs. One of those games is tonight. You know, one of the greatest players of all time, certainly the greatest goal scorer of all time. This might be your last chance in the next week to see him play. Big one tonight on TNT, Buffalo at the Rangers, because obviously Buffalo in a 3-way tie with Tampa and Montreal for the division lead. The nightcap is Edmonton at San Jose. Edmonton tied for first. San Jose 2 points out of a playoff spot, but this is their game in hand. So
and all of a sudden the Rangers have found a way to score, David. These young guys are scoring goals. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm a little interested in Buffalo at New York tonight.
I agree. Whereas earlier in the year it would have been, 6-2 Sabres, or in fact, I don't know if the Rangers would have scored 2.
I was going to say, did they get to 2? Exactly.
We have a bunch of day baseball today. Most of it's in the Northeast, whether it was scheduled that way or not. It's expected to be cold. Some of these start times have been moved, but, Mark, there's, obviously everybody's playing today. So there's 15 games, and of the 15 games, only 4 of them are at night, but one of the 4 is the Marlins.
And also the Rays, both at 6:40 night.
That's
Rays
true.
host the Cubs. Marlins host the Reds. I'd like to see the Rays get this one, win a series. Got the first one, home opener against the Cubbies. Lost yesterday in a big way. Like to see him win a series against a team that's highly thought of.
Reds finding ways to win. They're not scoring a bunch of runs, but they ain't giving up a bunch of runs. So, Cubs, Rays, Reds, Marlins. There you have it. 2 of the 4 evening baseball games, the other 11 taking place this afternoon.
I'm somewhat interested in the par 3 because I don't like the fact that they put Jason Kelce on. I don't, but I'm curious if he's going to tame it, how much he tames it down from his usual self. I don't think he'll be busting tables like he wanted to in Buffalo or chugging beer, but is he going to try to eat 7 egg salad sandwiches and embarrass himself? I'm curious, to say the very least.
I think he will tone it down 90%.
Is that enough to allow him to come back next year?
Maybe.
Miller and Moulton. The Masters starts tomorrow.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and
The
tourism.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.